Haha. Yeah, everyone's even here. Hi. Terraria is still on screen. That's wrong. Let's exit that. So, hello everyone. We're doing Tabletop Talk. We're doing it about the Dark Eye.
Yeah, I have a story about the Dark Eye.
Please tell your story. I will tell many stories today, I think.
Okay, yes. Because this is the one significant one, because we did play a couple sessions of it.
Okay.
What you would call back in the day a campaign, which was like 6 sessions, and we did like, one like short storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so we had a friend, and this was a friend who would show up to every single game and always make the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter if he was a goblin, a gnome, or a halfling. We were playing D&D basic, so we were playing from the basic and then the expert set rules, mostly the expert set rules. He would always be playing a druid or some sort of nature-based class. Didn't matter what it was. Even if he reskinned it, it would always be nature, because they were stoners. They would be loving the pipe.
Oh, okay.
The pipe weed was their thing. Anyways, so that guy comes in one day and goes, "Hey guys, Dungeons and Dragons is really lame." He used a different word. However, how about we, I'm turning into Muscle Man, like a high-pitched Muscle Man, which now I'm kind of realizing is basically that dude's voice. And now I'm getting really nervous that I knew, like, skinny Muscle Man.
Oh no.
All his characters were green, oh no!
I want to...
Anyways,
I appreciate both of you, and I'm petting your heads on stream.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, in effect, what he then did was, "I got this cool game from Germany, check it out. It's called The Dark Eye."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, okay. And then we played like 6 sessions of it, and we're like, it sucks. And we went back to playing Dungeons and Dragons. There's no other story. It's just like, it was so middling and mediocre. We're like, yeah, this blows.
So,
back to play basic.
So, okay, full disclosure about my history of this. This game, when I grew up, when I was a really young vampire, was very big in Germany because it was the big German RPG. And you would get it in bookstores where you couldn't get other ones. And so when a friend of mine was like, "Hey, my big brother," in brackets, like, big brother is 12, my friend is like 8, has this game. And it's really cool. You can be like a guy with a sword, you can slay orcs and shit. I was like, wow, I want to do that. And then imagine the most boxed and stupid adventures you can ever imagine, where it's just like, well, my character, where and the other character of my friend, we are playing in his brother's campaign. And basically, okay, the king has been captured by 3 dwarves. You have to free him because no one else can. You 2 first-level idiots. And then we went into the swamp where they had the king and shot 3 dwarves with our crossbows, which we had just bought. And then we had the king, and then we were like, yay, give us money. And then we had money, and then we went to kill orcs, because that's what we wanted to do, actually. And that's how that started. I was that young, and then we played it for years. And I couldn't tell you what versions had been out, but like, my brother's friend just had the books for 3rd edition. This is 4th, I believe.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know which one that I played, but this was the cover.
Yeah,
that's how I know.
But this is the 1st edition that was translated, I believe, because I could not find a 3rd edition in English at all, anywhere.
I will say, I'm on this cover.
Yes.
In the background. I look great. I look wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm in kind of my crunchy hippie vibe back there.
So I'd say one thing you can't fault this game for. This is from 2003. What was this when this was printed, I believe? Yeah. Yeah. It's the art. The art is overall good.
Oh yeah, the art's great. Art for all the Dark Eye stuff I've ever seen that came out like after this has cool looking art.
Yeah. Also,
and I do have a point of appreciation. This is the only game in which I've ever seen Messenger, Mountebank, Physician as class options.
I know.
Which I think is awesome.
Yes.
That's so good.
So cool.
Okay.
That rocks.
Yeah, so this game,
I actually think I played a messenger. What the fuck did I do? Hold on. I'm going to the class.
Yeah, go. I will say this game, so, is a very schizophrenic game. because you have a bunch of writers in this that are really good. Like, there is a starter adventure written just for elves, where you can pick one of the elven races. In this case, this game has elves as races and classes at the same time, and that there is in third edition still at that, where you are either from the far north in the ice, where basically Inuit elf, or you are from the magical forest, or you are from the like riverlands, where you are more or less like little more like used to the mundane stuff and not as magical prancing elf. And this is very fey everything, but they earn it, and it's well written and everything. And that adventure is really good. I still read that for fun because of just the descriptions of how these elves, like, you're a young elf, you're basically a timeless entity, and then you see nature and it's really pretty, and then you go out and then it's a little harder, but you survive because you know how to do that in the forest, and then you just see stuff that you've never seen before because you've always just lived in the forest, and so on and so forth. Really good. And then at the same time, that fucking continent is named Adventuria, and their fucking biggest land in our Adventuria is Middle Realm, because it's in the fucking middle of the country, of the whole thing.
Wait a minute. You're going too fast. This is too complicated. That's too. I will say, however, the setting in Berserk, the main continent they work on is called Midland.
Yeah, the thing is,
Midland is a pretty common term for, like, Europe.
No,
from the north. So,
yeah, but it is all like that. It is all like that. That's my problem with it. It's either some super whimsical name for those things, like the idea that to make a magical potion, there's this in the Nine Eyes Sea where the special magic water is, and you need this reed from the Nine Eyes Lake to make this potion, and otherwise you can all of that shit.
Yeah, so it's like you meet two elven guards, and one's Avon Hondor, and then the other's Bob.
Yeah, kind of.
Like that.
And it super depends on who wrote it. That's kind of a thing.
That's great. To be fair, that's also my setting. To be fair, I love that.
I don't have a problem.
I love that.
I don't have a problem with it as a tone,
good.
but I have a problem with it if you lead with the super whimsical, very epic stuff, and then eventually it just devolves into, like, you're the writing the stories. Anyway. To give since I played this so much, my verdict to this is, this was a good first RPG. I could have landed on way worse shit than this. For example, GURPS. It is very clunky in some aspects. We will get to which these are. But it is not a terrible game in and of itself.
I always appreciate that, like, I landed on second edition. Basic. It was basic.
I do hate it these days because of certain decisions that they never changed, which are, in my opinion, kryptonite to good play, but we will get to them.
Yep.
But just on certain aspects of it, like, for example, that every spell, there's not just a spell called Fireball, it's or fire lands, it's Fulminictus or something like Ignifaxius. Like, you can hate that, but the thing is, they actually published a small book of spells, which was literally a leather-bound book with all the spells in it, and your mage could just carry that around on their belt or something if they wanted to. And shit.
I'm gonna go back on that. Wait a minute. Yeah, at first I was like, that's stupid. No, that's way cooler than anything we have now.
Yes, but anyway, let's get into this a bit more. Again,
right,
you will mainly see lots of Germans in this, and Europeans generally. Art good. We have also, say this right now, we have proofreading and everything, so this is not one of those games.
Do I have to be worried about goblin portrayals in this game?
There's no goblins in No, there's goblins in Aventuria. I'm not sure if there's goblins in this book, though. Goblins...
Do I have to worry about any allegory? Like some rolling-esque banking allegory? Because I may be
you don't.
Offended.
No, you don't.
All right, good.
No.
I'm not sure if they even go there at all. I mean... I'm very
think so.
I'm very young. I was very young. I wouldn't have understood it. That's the thing. And you remember goblins being very, very weak creatures in this because they have very low hit points. But anyway.
Goblins are always kind of weak creatures.
Yeah, but it's in this game it's a particularly weak. We can get to it. East Anglia.
If you can't mash goblins into like a thick paste, what are you gonna do with your life? You know?
Yeah. Okay. I'm. This is just the most obvious example, my friends. I don't want to like bog us down with more examples of how this writing is just very ping pong, in terms of how serious it takes everything. And it's just like a pet peeve I have, where it's like if you hit a tone, just hit it, keep hitting it, because yeah. So this setting is very late medieval age kind of thing, early Renaissance. You have, for the most part, no gunpowder. I think they have rules somewhere for it, but I don't think they're in here. And it is what we would expect. Mostly humans and elves. There's dwarves as well. You cannot play other races. Well, at least there aren't rules for that anywhere. But if there's like a magical creature you know of, like an ogre or whatever the fuck, it's somewhere in this game as well.
Yeah.
Like they took liberally from all sources in a way that it's distinct enough that it works. I'm not gonna say, oh, you can't use ogres there in the other game. No, that's dumb. But yeah. Next to her, Truman Trueleaf, explorer from Gareth. Truman. He's called Truman. It just occurred to me. This is the Truman Show.
Yes.
I think they one-to-one took a German thing and including the names translated this. Which you get to some stuff in this, and we're not reading everything. Like the prose in this is fine. The explanations in this are fine. Get that out of the way.
I really like how the GM is called the High Lord.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yes. I'm not even...
I do like that.
I'm not sure what they called him in German. I think they invented High Lord for the English version.
I don't care, that's badass.
It is. Oh. Okay, so you get what's the role-playing game section again for its time. Totally valid to put that in. And it tells you what you do if you are the role player or you are the High Lord. And then there's rules which you have to follow. And then there's this terrible haircut guy.
This terrible haircut guy has been used for a D&D player character that has been at my table before.
Good. Terrible haircut guy. Like this is like the helmet haircut where you put the skull cap on and then cut every hair off that's outside it.
Yeah, it's a traditional bowl cut. It's great. Yeah. I think 8 out of every, let's say, 20 guards should have this haircut.
Yeah. Actually completely agree with that.
This is town guard haircut. This is what your wife gives you before you leave, and your son has the same haircut. He looks like you, but smaller.
Yeah, this is like when you don't have a mirror and people tell you, yeah, it looks good, and they laugh behind your back. That's...
That's great. Looks great, man.
Yes. So when you have an example of play, which goes on for a while, it's... I read this, it's fine, we're not going to read out all of it. Gives you the basic idea of how to play. What is Aventuria? Yeah, but that's the continent we're on. And
please explain Aventuria.
Yeah, we have fantastic. We have the idea of fantastic realism, that things are fantastic as magic, but it's also, by their own words, trying to adhere to like logic. And most things are mundane, so they aren't going to be farmers casting spells to grow their crops more or something. Because magic is rare and kind of like supposed to be kind of like Middle Earthy in that it's otherworldly and strange, and you don't see it every day. But it's still a world with magic in it. Here we have the dancing bear and stuff. Here we see a dwarf, and I don't know if there's an elf in this anywhere. I don't think.
Like the dancing bear.
I think he probably doesn't have a good time, but yeah. Again, the art in this is completely fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of... It's a little bit rough at some points, but like I think the less detailed artwork looks better.
Yeah, I think like this one isn't that good, but then we get to this, which is cool, in my opinion. This is a better style, just, with the cross-hatching. And then we get to these are the game rules. Oh, look, it's complicated actually because we get up to P.
Oh no, you get up to P.
Yes, we have to P sometimes. Okay,
Yes.
this game works off of D20 rolls books, where I've been good job, Celsius. By the way, sorry. Also, I'm not gonna honor your redeems because we are doing a talk show. I'm not turning them off either, though. Haha. Okay, it explains quickly. Like,
to be fair, I keep my terrible redeems on. Talk show.
Heavy P. I enjoy. Okay, I don't enjoy that it's like on the next page, but I do enjoy that it's like a quick explanation of what is where in the sheet and everything.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna be nice to the Dark Eye for one moment. I do like H through K. I really do actually like how the ranged weapon armor, shield parrying weapon is set out. I think that's really solid.
Yeah,
that's
the
about
sheet,
as good as it could be.
If we like go down all the way, because sheets are always in the back. Like these look fine. These are fine sheets. This is okay.
Yeah,
it's decent.
Like it's nothing to write home about. I always enjoy if there's a little.
Better than GURPS.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Very faint praise. I enjoyed always if there's a little like window to draw your character in, even if you don't do that.
Oh, fuck that. We're Germans. We're fastidious Germans. We have no time for
the German sheets had the little window to draw your character in.
Okay, let me reverse this. We're shit-eating Americans. We don't have time for the artistic pursuits. We're too busy eating Big Macs. Is that better? Is that
maybe, but then you
plebeian, disgusting Americans.
You print this on grease-resistant paper. I'm gonna explain real quick what we got.
You gotta laminate it.
So some things in the sheet are a little bit weird, but let's start here. So we have character name and the things you would expect up here. Like culture, profession, rank, siblings, appearance, weight, blah, 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 it's up here. Yep. Our positive attributes, which we don't roll, which we buy with points, we get to that later, are courage, cleverness, intuition, charisma, dexterity, agility, constitution, and strength. I think these are fine attributes. I think courage can be hit or miss, like
I would honestly like that in more fantasy games. Yeah. I would really like kind of like a courageousness versus cravenness kind of system.
Exactly. The thing with courage, it ends up being either someone leans into it, and even the DM doesn't expect that sometimes, that you actually play the craven character if you are craven. Or people are not very courageous, but they just can't play it if they are scared because they are not good role players. But that's not really the problem of the stat. And then we get vitality, endurance, resistance to magic, astral energy, adventure points,
astral energy
AP credit, level, and social standing. These feel a little bit thrown together. I don't know what AP credit is. I think that is something we get.
I have a feeling that it is some form of system in which you can take adventure points from the GM for future payback.
That's great. Okay.
Which would be really sick.
That would be nice. And then
that's just like hey guys, guess what? It's just like Modiphius's Conan, in which you can buy extra points from the GM.
Yes, you get
giving them Doom.
You can also do advantage, disadvantage for your character. We get to those. And then you have like your things, if it can change. Like these are your base stats. If you have 40 life points, you're going to put them into vitality, and you put your current in this little thing. And as you can see, we keep track of 5 things, which is cool that you have it on the sheet. Initiative, I think maybe it doesn't need this, but whatever. We get weapons. We get into those in detail later, but they do. We would expect from weapons. We have armor, we have shields and parrying stuff, and then we have skills. And some of them everyone gets. These are the ones that are already on here. Some of them you buy with points. I find it funny that everyone gets thrown daggers automatically. Like everyone can use some of these. Like this is a way to get around the problem of the mage didn't take a skill in weapons though. Well, no, you have daggers. Everyone has daggers. You just do it.
Okay.
That's a that's a thing that I'm gonna say right now is a pretty solid one from stuff like Cthulhu, where
Yeah.
it's like, no, you have a base level for some sort of defensive option.
Yes.
Even if it's garbage, you will always have
Yes,
something.
exactly. I mean, this is the same thing as being like, yeah, mages in 5e get quarterstaff and dagger and whatever the fuck else they get sling.
It's a
and so on.
stick. Everybody should
Yeah.
have quarterstaff
Yeah.
proficiency. You hit,
Yeah.
you hit somebody with a stick.
But it's
man.
not hard to
It's not
understand,
hard.
exactly. And
Yeah,
then,
it really isn't.
Way back when I was doing some of my original fencing training, they had us working with quarterstaffs first. Of course they do. And
makes sense.
my master at arms was like really dedicated to the idea that like you have to learn the stick. It's like, dude, it's a stick. Relax. He got so mad.
Exactly, Sundert. And
I
then,
laid belly
okay,
down in freezing mud for that.
attributes
It's not fun.
to start with your starting points are between, I believe, 7 and 13, maybe 14, maybe even in very rare cases like 15. I'm not sure. But they are around that area. And if someone asks you, okay, roll cleverness, then you roll a d20. And if you roll at or under your stat, you make the roll.
Oh.
So that's...
Okay, sick. All right. It's...
All right. Yeah.
I'm trying not to say it.
It's already off the bingo card. It's okay.
It's Modifius. It's
But
just
it's-
like 2d20.
No, it's 1d20 though.
I know, it's half the system.
Exactly. So what is the... So do we have issues with this in any way?
No, I think it's good.
I think
That's
it's...
fine,
I
Yeah.
honestly, I'm gonna say this from my experience playing this game and from my love of now like the 2d20 system. I actually really like having a target number and rolling under it instead of adding all of the stuff. I think it honestly makes it faster. I know that
Yes.
people like they think about the multi edition, but like then you get to 3rd edition, which is one that I've played quite a bit, but like when you add this modifier, this modifier, this modifier, this modifier, this modifier, and you're doing like a 7 edition chain, it is so much easier to just go stat and skill, add them together, target number.
I'm
roll
glad
under, or
you
whatever your number
I'm
is,
glad
roll
you
under.
think the system is
Done.
fast, because we're going to get to why it's
Wait.
really not fast.
Wait, because I think the base dice rolling mechanic is fine.
Mm-hmm.
This game doesn't do that.
Exactly.
It fucks itself over.
Exactly. We are
Right
getting
away.
to it in just a minute. But so yeah, the basic thing here, my only issue is that it means that basically every character is gonna fail. Like if you have a group of 4 people and you ask them to, I don't know, roll courage, there's always gonna be 1 or 2 people who aren't courageous in that moment, because if they have like 12 or something, it's a decent stat in their courage, and just roll a straight d20 on that, it's a 60% chance to do it and a 40% chance to not do it. So math-wise, if you have 5 players, 2 aren't going to do it, 3 are going to do it, and then it's always going to be that basic spread. So it's a bit too simple for me, but these rolls are pretty rare. Rolls on attributes are pretty rare. Usually it's like, okay, you're going to arm wrestle the guy, opposed strength roll, whoever rolls like the lowest or the biggest difference wins or something. It's not that common you roll the stats directly, because everything is derived from the stats again, and we are getting to that. But yeah, you can modify tests, you can get a bonus or a minus to your test if it's an easy or hard one. And the 20 is always a fumble, which can be just a miss, you do not do what you want. It can also be a like actual fumble where bad things happen. That is up to the High Lord to decide. In 3rd edition, it told you it's a fumble if you roll it in combat always, and there's like a chart for it, what you do. The chart isn't that bad. The worst thing that can happen to you is like you hit yourself for 1d6 damage or something. You hurt yourself, like overextend or something. And one of the more common ones is that you drop your weapon, I believe. It is not in here. I believe they just DM fiated it for 4th edition, which is good, because it is not great. 1 in 20 is not that uncommon for fights where you roll d20 to hit all the time. To fumble, obviously. But yeah, they have social standing, which is something they put into this edition. It was not in earlier editions, which is basically, are you in, how does society perceive you? Are you just scum of the earth, as this book even like I think literally says somewhere. Or are you like respected, and this gives you higher chances to make it in certain circles. It can also work against you though, so it's not always good to have it high. Depends on your adventure and stuff. This you can buy this with points, which I find funny because then people from lower standing are better at those other things because they have more points. Which is, I think, a bit silly, but I guess if you couldn't buy it with points, how else would you do it? People would just choose, or it would be dependent on your class, maybe, I don't know. And then we get to talents. What is a talent, you ask? Well, it is something like climb, which we saw on the sheet earlier, and you have a rank in climb, which is somewhere between a -3 if you suck at it, or higher. Oh, sorry, 0 to 21. Okay, you can't be negative. Oh yeah, right. This changes some things. In the 3rd edition, you can have a minus in any of these. In this edition, you can be untrained, or you can have a +0, and then you can raise it more. And you can go up to 21. And now you might be asking, wait, if I roll on a 21 on a d20 to do something, I'm always going to do it, right? Well, I have good news for you. So how it works is, if every talent has 3 attributes tied to it. Sometimes it's just 2 attributes, one of them twice, the third once. And you roll on all 3 of them. So if we go back to our sheet where we saw it, let's see, we had climb right here. So we roll on courage, on agility, and on strength. Let's say we have 5 in climb, but we have a 12 in all of these.
But why?
Yes, just you wait. It's really bad.
Yep. It's really bad.
This is the one where you never played another RPG before. Yeah, this makes sense. But if you played something before which was quick, and you're like, no, what the fuck is this? Because what you do is, let's play it through. I'm actually gonna get a dice. And we are going to just pretend roll. Let's say we have 12 in all these attributes, which is good. That's a good character. Like 12 is not a low stat. And we have 5 points in climb, which I believe for a first level is also a pretty decent stat. So I roll. I get a 6. I had to have a 12 on courage. 12 or under is cool. We are good so far. I roll. I get a 15. That's higher than my 12 in agility. But I have 5 points in climb. So I can be like, okay, I subtract 3 points from my climb of 5. I have 2 left. And I can roll again. It's a 15. It is another 15, actually. Now I failed. Because my third roll on strength, if I had rolled a 14 or under, I would have done it. But now I failed. So every time we have to roll, for example, perception. We have to roll cleverness, intuition, and do head math. It takes a while, folks. I can tell you that for free.
Only Germans would make a game in which you have to roll in triplicate.
Yeah. What you always did, by the way, is like you would, at least in my table, would have 3 different colored dice. And we would pre-declare on our sheet, okay, red, yellow, and green. Red is first, green is second, and whatever was left is third. And then you just roll all 3, and then you do the math a bit quicker. It's not great still, though.
No.
Hey guys,
because
I have the addendum. Do you know why we only took 6 sessions? Because a certain hot-tempered member of the party who will remain nameless threw their mug at the wall and flipped the table, screaming, "Why can't I just fucking climb the wall and pick the lock, you jackasses? This is 1 fucking roll in basic. I roll percentiles, it's done, you fucking troglodytes, you dirt eaters."
Emery,
that
what?
person will remain nameless.
Oh yeah, we will not name the person. We will just call them. They are A. Emery. Oh, sorry, that's too obvious. Let's say Archwis E.
E.
A.E. Wait, it would be E.C. You're really making it me.
True. I was.
I also just cracked my back.
I was.
So we did the health check. It's okay.
Yeah, I was doing a dig at your VTuber name in specific.
No, the funniest bit about that is that I was pretty reserved for most of those sessions, and then the last session, everybody was so tired that everybody freaked out. Like, everybody was, like, to use the phrase, chimping out. We all just became, like, hairless apes, like, throwing shit and screaming at each other and beating the top of the table, and I did flip the table.
Yeah. And here now, so this is...
It was a great time.
To go into... And full
no, it's not Esros. Esros is a very fine, gentlemanly...
Yes.
Esros
wears a tie.
Yeah. Esros would never Esros out.
No.
Now I'm just thinking. Now I've got Jungle Japes in my head.
But yeah, so
anytime anybody mentions Esros, I think about
like if you have ever played like any TTRPG, you know that if the DM asks for perception, then you're gonna have that one player at the table who's gonna be like, "What do I roll again?" Oh yeah, it's down the sheet. Oh yeah, okay, cool. And then you roll. If you have to explain to this player this process, then you're gonna go fucking insane.
Yeah. Very quickly.
Yes, because the fact that we lasted 6 sessions. By the way, I've talked about before how, like, back in the day we used to all go over and it was like 10-hour sessions. We played somewhere like 50 to 60 hours of the Dark Eye. It wasn't like a couple sessions where we jump in and haha, we have a good... No, these were massive. These were super long gaming sessions.
I have played hundreds and...
About 60 hours, and that's all I could take. And then all of our sanity scores went low enough that we just like lost our shit.
Oh, there's another mechanic in this which I really don't like, which we're gonna get to in a minute. But this is, in my opinion, the second worst thing in this game, just because it takes so long, and the game is as frequent with checks as D&D is, if not more so, because there's more skills.
Yes.
Like, there's just a bunch of things in this where you would be like, you have to roll this just because someone invested points into this, so we should probably roll. And then everyone is stuck rolling like a bunch of dice. And it is very slow. And also, the way this is set up again, your starting skill in something is maybe 5 if you're good at it. Maybe it's a bit higher. Usually it's lower. So by process of elimination, you don't make most checks. Because if you are, again, 12 and everything is a decent attribute spread to start. Usually you will have like one higher, one lower. It's just easy to say 12. And 60% chance to roll over. If you just have 4 points and you roll an 18, you are out immediately. And on 3d20, that's not unlikely to happen. Like, it's bad. It's like having disadvantage twice over for every check you make, basically.
Yes, basically, yeah. Like, the math of this is like, I understand it immediately, and I hate it so much. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
I think we found the worst dice system yet.
No,
I won't say that. I won't say. We've had worse.
Which one?
Continuum.
I'll take Continuous dice system over this.
I think the pure resolution mechanic in Continuum wasn't even bad. The problem in Continuum was everything else.
It was everything else was the problem, wasn't the dice.
Oh,
the dice is, whoa,
this is really bad. Yeah, this is really bad. I don't know. I can't say, guys, I can't confirm or deny whether or not this is going to be the worst for me.
Yeah.
But it's pretty bad. I'm physically ill now. I've become physically ill.
Like if you really think about it, like, you can make it a simpler example. If you have 12 and everything and a 6 in your skill, you have to basically roll 3 14s or under to make it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you instantly fail should you roll an 18 or above. So your chance to fail is 15% on the first roll. The chance to fail outright because of one high roll is pretty much is not insignificant, and your chance to make it is not great. And I don't think they knew, in the defense of this game, insofar as I want to defend it, is I don't think they thought about it. There's always did this and never. That's a death. I should probably not show my death counter from Terraria, right? This is maybe we.
Number of times you died reviewing this.
Oh, God.
I wanted to talk about that, but then I was like, you know what? It's probably accurate.
Yeah.
How often we died on shore? We died way more often. But yeah.
We've done a lot on this show.
Yeah, so that's
it's like a nostalgia critic kind of thing. We die, but we're fine next episode.
I may also mention right now that for every spell you want to cast, it works like this.
Fuck.
And would you like to know another tidbit of information, Emery?
No.
Okay. A spell you have two. You have 2 actions per combat round, right? In this game, a spell will often take more than 2 actions to cast.
Okay, I will say I kind of dig that. I will say that. However, if I have to make a check every round, reaction.
It's kind of worse.
Okay.
It's kind of worse.
How is it worse?
Okay.
Worse?
Yes, because you have to be like, okay, I spent 4 actions to cast the spell. Okay. Yes. Then you roll next round.
Oh.
Fuck.
So you stand there for a turn and do and you potentially waste 2 rounds of combat to do nothing. I know for a fact of 2 players in this who I really like as people who cheated the fuck out of this. They would literally just tell you what the dice rolled, and it didn't roll that, and I saw and I didn't care because I was also a player. Because it's just like, yeah, I get it. You are in this version, like, I get it even more. And it used to be in the old version, because we're gonna get to wages in more detail, but let's just say I understand why wizards used to cheat in this, but we'll get to that.
Okay, I will say this right now, because we do have some chat talking about crippling spellcasters and spellcasters with drawbacks. You fools, we read a system a few months ago, that did actually have really good spellcasting mechanics.
Yep.
It's already been named this episode.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Like, straight up, spellcasters are super powerful in D&D right now.
Yep.
And they have been for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They limit a little bit with components. Even I'm not super fastidious about components, because I think spell components are really weird, and I like them a lot, but I think most players just hate them.
I think it's fine to do it, but they overdo it with stuff that doesn't matter, in my opinion.
It's really strange. I feel like there are ways to do it, but like, there's not enough narrative design in that system to make it work. It's all like this weird, like, resource nonsense, but like, nobody's gonna want to write down spell components. It's so bad that there are not spell components in like the official digital tool. Like, you cannot add spell components like a red dragon scale worth 50 gold pieces. You can't add that in their own digital tool because it's that annoying. Now, the way that stuff like Conan does it is that, magic will take a long time to cast sometimes. It's gonna be really weird, but they're also really, really powerful. Like, they're powerful spells, but doing that has a narrative drawback. As we talked about in that there's always some kind of like loss of humanity associated with it. It's similar to Cyberpunk and Cyberpsychosis, and how, like, you know, getting stronger as a character through that venue instead of leveling up and taking the effort to, you know, improve your skills, you're taking like a shortcut, and that shortcut has a drawback. This is just like, oh, we want the cool spell to be strong, but it's going to take some time. It's like, oh my god, I'm going to compare it to Skyrim. It's like in Skyrim where you have like the really powerful spells that take a long time to charge up, and like, nobody used them. They would just use the basic flamethrower.
Yeah.
That works.
The big spells were good to like snipe, but then if you were in combat, you just...
Oh, I'm talking about the area of effect ones where you have to like hold it down and hold it down and hold it
Yeah,
down.
no,
and, like,
yeah,
pop, and
those
then
were
it's
good.
Like,
No, those were good to start a combat with, because you can nuke some dudes like right off the bat. But then once the fight is on, especially since those spells were not homing at all, and Skyrim's ranged combat is not great. Once you're moving, you would always flamethrower or ice blast or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
But man, like it's just such a bummer to see stuff like this where it's like you can make spellcasting really interesting. Can I have one last bit of the rant and I will be done? I swear.
Of course.
This episode.
Please.
No, you don't.
All right.
I don't want you to do that. I want you to talk.
There's an issue with game design that we've run into multiple times with these bad games, and I'm assuming season 3 of Tabletop Talk will get into even more weird shit that's really bad. But designing games is not necessarily that hard. Designing games that have lasting staying power, that's difficult. That's the difficult part. And that's what we're seeing a lack of right now, where it's like a lot of games are just not sticking around, or people are going back to the older versions of games and playing those instead. Cyberpunk, great example. Cyberpunk Red is weird, and people are just going back and playing 2020 anyways, because the games are that similar.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
and
the problem with this is the 3rd edition of a game that was exclusively published over. This is 4th? I thought this was 3rd.
Okay, I believe it's. Oh no, wait. Yeah, you're right. We had 2nd is the one that's not translated. 3rd is this one. Yeah. Sorry, I said 4th originally. I misspoke.
So it's all good. So why was Dark Eye published? Was it just an issue with like porting systems over? Like, was it an issue with translation, or was it an issue with like shipping?
So I believe 1st and 2nd edition were just. So 1st and 2nd edition Dark Eye were big in Germany mainly because there was no translation to German for anything. This is one of the, if not the first RPG in Germany that ever existed that you could play in German. So if you weren't just good at English, which in that time many people just weren't, there was no choice, really.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's what I thought, because like a lot of the early tabletop stuff had English and Japanese translations, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
That's why you can find all of those really funny, like cool Elric games, like the one that we covered. That's also as a Japanese translation. That is the cover art by fucking. Why is my brain not working?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'm gonna go look at my artwork. My brain's not working. Yoshitaka Amano. It's the Amano.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Amano.
Okay. Yeah. I thought when we did the Elric game, I showed that on stream. It was very, very small, but it's very cool. Amano loves Elric.
Understandable.
Oh yeah.
Because he's exactly what Elric likes, like this lithe, like tall, white-haired, fishy boy.
Yeah. So.
But anyways, that's an issue here where you then see like all of these hyper complex design decisions that are made kind of in a vacuum, and we see this with a lot of different games where if they're made without context of other games and how they're played, like you get some really weird nonsense. It's like Calvin Ball, where every playground has their own version of like this very specific game, and the rules are always vastly different.
Dark Eye was mentioned on the list of video games. Jimmy, you might play.
Weird.
Yes, Dark. So that's another weird outcropping of this, because this was so big in Germany. In a time where you can just be two dudes in a cellar somewhere, you can make a game if you're two dudes in a cellar. There's like 20 games using this system from Germany.
Okay.
And this obviously works no better mechanically if you translate it 1-to-1 into a game, but it just at least you don't have to roll all those dice. At least you just know you failed if you do something. So that's the thing. What I want to get at is, Emery is very correct with the vacuum idea. The idea of this obviously is, I don't like just rolling percentile to climb walls. It should be tied to my stats, right? That's a reasonable idea to have about a game. And then they just invented a thing that allows that, but they didn't do the math.
No, they really didn't.
Like, it is just, it is such an incremental improvement that you're making, like, because it costs you like a lot of points to increase one of your attributes or increase one of your skills comparatively to everything, that you will never be super sure that you will make it. Like, once you have 15 in everything and 10 points, I would say, okay, most likely you will make it. But that's high level shit. That is high level shit. And normally you would have to, depending on what class you are, really pump one stat. For any fighting character, it's either agility or strength, I believe. I think some weapons could use agility for damage. Some weapons use strength. It might have all been strength, in which case a fencer would have to be very beefy. I don't remember. I will be honest. It's third edition shit, and this book does not. I don't think gives you all the, because it's the basic rules, which is enough to look at it though. And
so I'm gonna just say this right now. It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use two examples. If you want to write better action or adventure books, read romance novels. If you want to make better horror films, you need to watch like slice of life anime. You know, like that's the kind of thing. The more you understand about your medium, the better you can make it, even if your games have nothing in common.
Yeah.
Because you can identify things that are fun here and systems that function well.
Yes. But this
is not a game that has done this.
No, this is again, the thing here is they invented this resolution system back with first edition. I'm very sure, because I have at least one book and I looked it up and it had this in it. Where, and now it's their golden calf and they're never going to get rid of it, but it's never been good. And finagling the rest of it into there in a way that it just makes it kind of work is never going to be a good system. It is still obviously playable.
It's
just
both of us
annoying.
Played it. Like, it
yeah.
works.
And I have played it for a long time. It's very telling that when it was on me to like firstly DM a game, I went to D&D and then later Shadowrun, because those games make it
Shadowrun reference, mark it on the bingo card.
Of course, mark it down. Like D&D makes it very easy to DM if you know like the rules. Like the most annoying thing in Shadowrun, in D&D, is to like, oh, this fight has a wizard in it. What spells does the wizard get? And you have to think about that for a while.
Yeah.
In Shadowrun, it's very quick once you know like how to stat things out.
Yeah.
This game kind of does this as well. Like that works, but there's a lot of clunkiness with the spells again. We'll get to it. I want to continue. We have talked about this enough. Let's talk about.
I have one.
Yeah, please, yes.
So it says with fumbles, if you roll a 20 at any time, it's automatically going to be a fumble the whole roll, right? You're going to automatically fail. Okay, so like you're rolling 3 dice all the time.
Yes.
So anytime one of those 20s, okay. Wow, that's really fucked up. They really didn't do that. Because that's a 14.26% chance of that happening every fucking time.
House rule at every table I ever played at was that you just like pay the points, but that's still very bad.
That's still very bad. That's awful. Holy shit.
But yes, as per the rules, if you roll a 20 on 3d20, again, the chance for that is way above 10%.
Yeah, it's 14.26.
Yeah, exactly. You and now multiply this by 4 or 5 players. Like someone's gonna fumble their fucking skill roll nearly all the time. Yeah.
Wow, this is
They made it DM Fiat in this third edition. The previous edition had that as a rule in it. Okay. Now we get to the combat system, and I will give this book 1 point to something. You will not know it yet, but I'll give it 1 point. So, okay, combat system. What do? We have seen most skills, right? We have like skills in climbing, and they have 3 attributes listed, blah, blah, blah. We noticed that for axes and maces, that's not the case, right? There is no 3 attributes. Because what happens is you get a base attack and parry stat. which are derived out of 3 attributes. I don't remember what, but it's constitution and strength and agility. Maybe let's just say those. Makes sense to me. Is your attack stats, and then intuition, agility, and cleverness maybe is your defense. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We can look it up. It does not really matter, but then you divide them somehow. You add them together, divide them by 5, whatever the fuck it was. You get you have to 8 and 7 attack and defense base. Let's just say. And then let's say you have 6 points of X. Now you can be like, I put 3 into attack and defense, and you have 11 and 10. Those are now your target numbers to hit and defend. So, okay, I want to hear from Drake first. Drake, why is this bad? Please give me at least one reason.
I assume that at some point in this game, you're going to have some kind of penalty or bonus to your stats at some point.
Yes and no. Actually, you would be surprised how little that happens. The game is very... the game does not really do buffs on stuff in that way.
Okay.
And if it buffs something, it will give you an attack buff, for example, not just like a strength buff. Mm-hmm. But you are right, though. So there is instances of this where you drink a potion of strength and you get a bonus, and then your attack bonus changes. But that's actually not that bad because you do the math one time. However, let me give you an example of why this is bad. Let's say I have 10 points. Let's say my base defense bonus is 7. I put them all into parry. My parry is now 17 out of 20. So combat now takes forever. Because you can't hit me. Because it is not dependent on the enemy is an ogre with a giant tree for a weapon. Emery just left.
Oh, I left because that was so terrible. I just that's all I can tell you. It was so bad.
Because again, it doesn't matter if your enemy has a giant tree for a weapon and hits you with it, and you only have a dagger. Mm-hmm. No, if your parry value is 17, yeah, you roll, and 1 in 20 you fumble, and 2 in 20 you don't do it. But the other ones you defend it. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the worst combat mechanics ever. Because, I mean, D&D does it with like, okay, I have 20 armor class. You have to combine 20 to hit me. It's very quick. And we all kind of know how it works very fast. Because I know I have a +6 to attack. So I know I hit you on a 14. I can do that math in my head in a second. In this, it's like, okay, I roll. A very brain dead roll of, I have a 10. Oh, I rolled an 8, so I hit you. And then you roll your defense, and you make it. It doesn't matter by how much. It matters that you make it, so you defend it. Yeah. Or you didn't, and then maybe I do damage. Here's the next reason this is bad, and this is the one point I'll give them because I didn't see this rule anywhere. In the previous edition, you had 1 parry per turn. Yeah. In this edition, as far as I can see, you have unlimited parries.
Oh.
1 per attack, but if 2 people attack you, each get a parry. That's what I mean.
I see.
Because in previous editions, what you would always do is like the reverse of, like, you know, in D&D where it's like the advantage conga line of I attack him in the back because then 2 people are fighting the same enemy, so both get advantage, and then the next enemy goes in my back, so then he gets advantage because he has a friend, and then it's always enemy, friend, enemy, friend, enemy, friend, and you have a long line of fighting, you know? In this game, you have like your group of gallant heroes, and as soon as the combat starts, they all mob one guy and kill him. That's the previous edition of this, because after the first parry, that guy is defenseless and just stab him like 15 times in a round, and not 15, you know, if you have 4 players, yeah, 3 of them stab him, and the fourth gets parried. One of them gets parried and the others don't. And then you do all your damage and that guy's gonna die. And then the enemy also does this to you if the DM hates you. So one player is gonna be out really fast. And also, ranged attacks just run an attack and you can't parry it. So guess what's good in this game?
This is great. This is fantastic.
Exactly, Ataraxian. Except Ataraxian. Ataraxian. Except this. In Exalted, if you each roll 265 dice and you get through once, the other guy probably takes a bunch of damage.
Yeah, that is the difference.
In this,
that's why Shadowrun Exalted is much better.
Right. But why am I like I'm railing against an active parry mechanic, but I love the game with the Shadowrun to run, right? Why does it work in Shadowrun? Because if you take damage, it's probably going to be a significant amount.
Yeah, I was gonna say same thing with Cyberpunk, where every single melee weapon attack is defended by a reaction, and like it still just works.
Yeah, it works because if you get hit in Shadowrun for 3 damage, it's significant because you only have like 10 points. Yeah. So you can't take many attacks. In this, a sword does 1d6 plus 4 damage, and the first level idiot on the street has 30 hit points. And the only way to get damage up is a weapon has a threshold of strength above which you do 1 more damage for each extra strength you have, for each extra attribute you have. So you can eventually do like 1d8 plus 1d6 plus 8 damage or something with your sword, allowing you to down a commoner in only like 5 attacks or something like that.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Man. Man. This game sucks.
I feel exhausted this time. What the hell?
I have so many stories about this game.
We're on page 19.
I know, but a lot of this, we have really exhausted the game mechanics is the thing. We're getting into a lot of buying shit. So, okay. And also, like out of combat, you regenerate 1d6 hit points per day, 1d6 magic points per day, and 3d6 endurance points in I think 5 minutes or something like that. So endurance is kind of like your you know what endurance is. Yeah. But you can take endurance damage and you can.
Explain endurance to me.
Okay, it's like when you can't breathe and shit, and I don't care. You know what endurance is? I'm not okay. It's 5 minutes. Yes. Okay.
Slip and breath play for no reason. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it goes hand in hand with ED regeneration.
Yeah.
Because I of course I'm a child and have to go ED regeneration.
Yeah, I don't think they knew. Yeah.
There's probably a prescription brand for that regeneration.
There's like, I will get into this as well. So if you have 30 hit points and you regenerate 3 of them per night or 3.5. After a fight, you're going to be out for a while just regenerating hit points, right? Makes sense.
Yeah, that's never gone poorly for anybody.
You can get a bonus of up to 2 for having like a good meal and good bed and shit. And you can get a minus of up to 7 to your d6 roll. Yes, that means you can't do anything. If you're like out in a swamp in the shit or something. And you don't get minuses, but you just the James is like, no, fuck you, you don't regenerate. You can roll.
Today.
Yeah.
Eat shit.
And then you have like a speed stat. Who cares? Now we build a character.
Rocks.
Building a character. We now get into where this game liberally steals, because we're getting into like who you can play. So we can be a middle realmian. Again, I hate this. This is just a dude from late medieval Europe, basically, and the HRE or what have you. It can be a Tulamid, which is like a Muslim.
Oh, Okay.
There you go.
Pretty cool.
They just believe in the same gods, so just from dudes from the desert who, but they are skinned as
cool.
as that. But the gods in this setting are, my first ever character was that, and he used a giant crossbow, which he was not skilled with,
That's badass.
to shoot orcs. Yeah. And then we have Thorwaldians, which is Thor is in the name, so you might be able to guess what they are. They are like
Yes.
Vikings. And we have elves, we have dwarves, and that is what this book gives you. The other books in this will give you more options, like many do, with other places and other like kinds of elves and kinds of dwarves you can be. However, all of these are very, very, very skinned to, like, I don't know. There's the northern lands, which are Russia. There's the southern lands, which are basically, I don't know, terrible stereotypes of jungle kingdoms. And I mean, they did clean it up for this edition, I believe, but in earlier editions it was pretty bad, and so on and so forth. And these give you bonuses and shit. So let's do it. So you have like a race and culture, which is this. You have a profession, which is your job, which you would expect. And you pick them, and then you have to pay. Like, you start with 110 building points for this. Generation points, GP, as they call it. Let's say I pick a middle. What?
Unfortunate to call it GP.
Why?
Yeah, gamer
Again.
points.
Gamer points. Okay.
Yes.
And so you pick like, let's say I pick like Tulamid from Nuvadi, which is like a desert dweller, costs me 5 points. And then I pick a physician for no points. And I get what I have to have in my stats to get it, and then I buy with the rest of my points, in this case 105. I just pay 1-to-1 to have a stat at that level.
Okay.
And
that seems reasonable.
Yes, the building is pretty easy. You used to roll 1d6 plus 7 for your stats.
Okay.
In the previous edition. And surprisingly, a lot of sixes were rolled that time, because it's one of those where
crazy.
with the resolution mechanic we went over, imagine having like an 8 in something, like, and having to roll on that all the time for random shit that you have to do. Like, it's not great.
Having any one of your stats low could like completely bunk one roll if they're all like that weird like combination.
Yeah.
Especially if it's the one thing that you do a lot that you count twice.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you kind of know. I can tell you for free that young Nora, in the generation book for second edition, did a lot of math, because it used to be, this gives you a lot more freedom in what you do. It used to be, in that previous edition, that you had specific like classes, like warrior and a soldier and whatnot, which would have specific bonuses to everything. And there is I totaled them up for all of their things, and being like, oh, look, a warrior gets 70 points. A rogue, a cutthroat, gets 50. A physician gets -5. And so on and so forth. It was that bad. Where
pretty bad.
Yeah, where you would get, like, even in totals, it was super shit. Like, there was a trader class, and they basically got social skills and nothing else.
That's pretty cool.
And then you could play the trader next to like the warrior, who had a +10 to sword to start, because they went to the right academy for that, which is not in this book, but I know it's in other books that you can get for this, where you just get a bonus because you went to the warrior academy of, I don't know, Gareth or whatever. Gareth, the big town in the middle, by the way. So it's super unbalanced. This is more balanced simply because they make you buy things. Next, you buy your talents, which I think I already kind of scrolled over that. You I think total up your attributes in some way, and then multiply that, and you get that many points to spend on talents, and how much they cost is in a list somewhere. Sorry. Before we get to that, though, you can also pay GP, to get advantages and disadvantages. Some of these are interestingly done. For example, if you have claustrophobia, let's just say, you generate yourself a negative stat that only you have, which is like you can buy claustrophobia at 1.5 GP for each. I think you have to have a minimum of 5 points or something in each of these if you buy one. Or curiosity is -1. And then you have like a curiosity stat. And the DM can be like, well, if anyone is curious, you roll on that now. And if you make the roll, you are curious. So it's like, it works exactly like a stat, but in reverse. And I really like that. Because it kind of gives you not just the idea that the yes-no question of, or do you have the negative thing of curious? Well, you have to do it now. No, it gives you a number of curious that you are, and then you roll it, and then you can feel like unlucky or lucky that you are now gonna step in the trap, basically. I don't mind that. It's one of the things I do enjoy about this. And the old game, for reference, used to have this as well, but you would just roll d6s for your negatives, unless you had a specific thing where you would take it, they would have disadvantages and shit in some way, then it would go up. So the worst you could be in something is like a 6 or 7, normally.
All right.
And then there was threshold things where, like, if you don't have at least a 5, you don't have to roll on it, basically, for sort of rolls. And then some of these are just like any advantage, disadvantage you would know from other things. But it's just like, oh yeah, if you're lucky, you just get something for that. Yeah, who cares right now? And then we have talents, which is where you, as a young math stupid Nora, you were like, what? Because you have talent cost table A, B, C, D, E, and then they have a spread. What this means is activation, for example, means if I want to buy an A skill at all, it costs me 1 point. If then I have it at 0, can I write it on my sheet at all? If I want to buy it 1 up, it costs me 1 point again, then 2, then 3, then 4, and so on and so forth. And if it's an E skill, which is like these are listed here: combat talents, bastard sword, bows, fencing, weapons, jousting, swords, 200 swords. It costs a lot more to learn. And you get like between 400 and 500, 600 points, I think, to spend. And you can only spend up to a certain number to start. I think it's only first level characters can only spend so many. It doesn't matter. You can't just start with 20 and something.
Valid.
And, especially not your fighting thing. But you can eventually have 20, which is pretty porg. And then there's a lot of examples how it works. And mages also buy spells with this. So you will not have many spells.
I've never liked that. I've never liked that.
Yeah. It used to be in the olden days that you could just have your long list of like 180 spells with a number for each of them for your character, which told you if you had the spell or not. Like if you have a spell, it used to be if you have a spell at -5 or better, you could attempt to cast it. It's a long shot. Like if we need to talk to the ghost, can you just talk to ghost? I have -4. I can try. Like it's probably not gonna work, but I can try. And then you would roll, fail, roll, and then succeed because, well, sometimes you are lucky. But in this, since you can't have a negative in something, you either learn the spell at least a little bit, which is pretty. I mean, 5 points isn't that bad, but you would pay it a lot, or you don't, and it makes you less knowledgeable in other things. Blah blah blah. And now we get magic also works like this. Oh no, magic has their own spell cost thing here. I actually see. Okay, sorry, but they work the same way. It's just the same point pool. You buy them. I don't know why something is in brackets here. I don't remember. I think this is.
seeing unnecessary brackets. That's great.
I think this is the total. Yeah, this is totaling. They're totaling it up. Why didn't they do that here then? Maybe these are totals. No, that makes no sense. They always get it at 1 for free and 2 for free. Okay, I don't know. Didn't get into this edition that deep to tell you that right now, but that it's still, you end up with a point score up to 10 for your spell if you want it. And it costs you apparently 138 points to a B skill at 10, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But so it means you're an expert at it, because 10 is pretty good, I guess.
Okay.
Well, here are your stats, right? The basic things. Courage plus agility plus strength divided by 5 is your attack bonus. Intuition, agility, and strength is your parry value. And your range value is intuition, dexterity, and strength. So strength is... You want strength if you are fighting at all. You want it high.
Valid.
It makes sense, yeah. But there isn't a thing where you only need dex for your rogue or something like that. Like, this is a bit unusual because most systems are like, you don't need strength. If you hit, you do strength. But in this, just to fight generally, you need it.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that stuff.
Yeah,
Making multiple stats necessary is something that I always kind of appreciate.
Yes, I agree. This in of itself is fine. Like, also, if you derive a few stats from your main stat, that's also fine, as long as they don't change like every other day.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Nora, what if they change every other day?
Then you shouldn't do it. Then you have like your astral energy, which is like constitution plus intuition plus charisma divided by 2 is your basic astral. You can buy it up. So you don't get a lot of these actually. So it's like if you have again 12, so it's 36, so 18 astral points. Plus modifier. Modifier is mainly if you bought the advantage to get more, which you should as a wizard. We'll get to Y soon. Your base initiative is just, it doesn't really matter. I mean, when you get a thing, and your base resistance to magic is basically you got one counter spell thing in this, like the one saving throw, which is exactly this value. So a lot of examples here. I will say this book, in the way it's written, is fine and good in that they really walk you through like how we make the character. They really hold your hand and tell you for 3 example characters like how does the math work and so on and so forth. It works fine. Then they even give you a step-by-step again to make sure you can look everything up quickly, and it's a quick explanation of what you have to do. And that's fine.
I do appreciate that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have here your guys and girls you can play as. If you pick a middle Ramian.
I love the middle Romian coming back with the bowl cut.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
They give you like a height, and they give you a weight, and they give you a modification table, which is in this case it gets a VP. I forget what they are. But he gets 10 endurance points, and he gets resistance to magic of -4, which is crazy. And I think most humans get RM, so I'm not... Yeah, most humans get really shitty resistance to magic, while other classes get better. And this is more or less like if you are more superstitious, it's more likely to work on you. That is kind of the idea. And
that's
then
logic.
The Tulamids, they get a bit more. They get like the same VP and EP, and then they get also +1 to dancing, appraising, and calculating.
Oh, everybody has a penalty to resist magic, even elves.
But it's probably less than what they... Yeah, they're going to get -2. Yeah, because it's like you have to hit that number to do something, and we just talked about what you have to do to cast a spell successfully at all. And if the RM is too high, then you cast your spell successfully, it doesn't work. That sucks. So they probably wanted to make that less likely.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense in a bad way, though. It's not good. It's just a rule you can do.
It's not good at all. No, makes sense. Doesn't necessarily mean it's good sense.
It's looking a lot like Nora's avatar with Mochibi. I would love Art of Young Nora. And so then we have the Torvalians, who are again Vikings. They get +1 strength, +1 constitution, +1 coordination, +11 VP, +10 endurance, and the -5 to resist. They get violent temper 5, meaning you roll 5 or below and you are violent tempered for something, if you have to roll. +1 athletics, +1 carouse. There's a skill to drink in the bar.
Yeah, I
+1
love that.
perception and +2 weather sense. And then they recommend you, which I like, advantages, disadvantages that you might take that make sense for your the people you are playing.
Mhm.
So you know if
I
you
like that
play
a lot.
truant against type, yeah. Elves get a lot of stuff. I'm not going to get into everything. They get a -2 carouse, so they get drunk very easily.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I can tell you that's not real. That's false. That's fake news, human news.
Well, you will enjoy that elves are very tall in this, though.
Yeah.
They can go up to 2.08 meters.
That's like my dad.
So that's your dad.
Reconfirmed for lightweight. That's legitimately the opposite. I've proven
And
on stream that I can drink constantly and be fine.
yeah, and then we have dwarves, kind of the same thing again. They get more points here. If you do the math about what they cost as races, it kind of works out that this is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you might not get everything in places you want. So it's weird that dwarves don't get resistance to magic because we're very used to that, but they're more resistant than others.
What is advantage dwarf knows? What is this?
You can smell out gold. It's just literally that.
Yeah, it is literally that. I actually took a minute to go look that up. I was like, dwarf nose? What the fuck? Yeah.
I don't like that.
These
a
are
little sussy.
no. These dwarfs are made as helpers to the god of smithing, and they want all your money to put away in.
Yes, they use their very strong nose to sniff out the gold.
Well, it works on
And
all.
then
It works on all, not
hoard
just
the
on gold. It works not just on gold, but yes, I see what you mean
Yes, I
about.
believe strong gemstones as well, and I assume even banking bonds they can find and squirrel away. Sussy. Thank you, Germany. Very cool.
You will agree that if this is a problem, then Tolkien is also a problem with that.
Yes, that's actually a big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been pretty consistently.
Yeah. So
gone
okay,
over.
I want to not so much defend this game as say
No,
that
I'm just yucking.
I know you're
just
yucking, but I want to make sure that this is clear.
mean.
This game is just going to be these dwarfs are right out of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Just-
be real.
and-
I actually really like that.
Yeah,
I
just-
actually kind of like
yeah.
the Lord of the Rings dwarves.
And
I think that most dwarves are way too weak.
Yeah.
In terms of their characterization, out of that fear.
Yeah, these
fear
dwarfs
of Elrond.
literally you can play in the actual game again. This is it says Angrashim here. Why does it say that? Well, because they're from the Angrash Mountains, and if you come from a different mountain home, you are a completely different dwarf, a different fucking culture, and they might not even like each other that much. And there's a lot of the books that they come out with is here is the actual history of the dwarves. So you should only read this if you're playing one, because otherwise this stuff isn't really known. And then you get 10,000 years before start of the game, this happened, and then this and this and this, and they tell you everything. And then there's this lost tribe of dwarves, and those became the hill dwarves, and blah blah blah. This game goes
really
hard on history.
I like that a lot.
And that
obviously.
is, I do enjoy that too. In the case of history stuff, because that's fun.
That's a lot of fun. And I
yes.
like that what you were saying regarding, okay, well, these dwarves over here in this other mountain, these dwarves are automatically going to be different. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they use kind of these template things as well. If you're a warrior who goes to the academy, your academy will have this spread and give you bonuses to stuff, and it will cost this much to go there in points of points. And you might have to have a certain standing in society, because a warrior in this is automatically a low noble. It's basically a knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That
If
makes
you are
sense.
just some sort of sellsword, you have not gone to an academy. You are just a guy who learned to fight somewhere.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I really dig
dig
that.
that.
The craziest thing is everything that isn't about rolling the dice in the system, I'm kind of down with. I think that's really neat.
This
I
game-
think making
this
your
game
culture really important is cool.
this game gets you with all the stuff, with all the fluff, and then it drives the dagger in once you have to play it. If your cultures, like you told, so here's your Viking, here's your Garethian, Northern European person, here's your Italian,
Yep.
who's a Russian, here's your Foundlandian, basically the Russian. These are the northern people, so on and so forth. They tell you a bit about what these places are. And this is the Horatian Empire, blah 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 blah. Like you don't have to get into it. It kind of gets you kind of get it from the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Mendestian is like a city-dwelling desert person, while Novadi is actually like a what do we call them? A
Bedouin.
Bedouin. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yep.
And you have Lear elves, which are like Auelfen in German, which is, that means like they're from the meadows. And
okay, I get you.
they are the most worldly of the elves, because the wood and ice elves are just gonna be like, what's concern do we have with your world? It's in our place here, and if you come here, you will just die, not by our hand, but just by the things that are here. So fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I mostly play the elves, and if you play any. And then your professions, which also like give you a bunch of things that you add to your stuff, and then you pay the GP for it. Many of them cost nothing or cost just a little bit. And depending what you are, you just get different stuff, and that's fine. And you can be a magician, then it cost 20 points, you get these things. 6 bonus Astra points, nice.
Oh, the Explorer is basically Indiana Jones. Oh,
Yes.
Cool.
There is a bunch of this, and this is fine. Like, it works as a thing. This is fine.
Like it works.
Yeah,
Cool.
this would be fine if your resolution mechanic was better.
Yeah.
Like
All of this stuff is neat. Like this could make like really cool class packs for
Yeah.
something like like D&D Basic or 2E. Like that's really neat.
Yeah.
I like having these skills. I like setting it up this way, and I think this is kind of cool. And again, some of these are really unique. Like you're not going to see. Like I made the joke about the mountebank, but like that's cool.
Yeah.
I will say I think it's really weird that they call it mountebank and not like charlatan or performer.
I think
That's what they mean.
in the German version it was, oh god, what was it? Gaukler. And I think they went for like a weird one, because we also wouldn't say that normally.
Yeah,
Um,
like that's one that's usually like the term mountebank is usually applied to charlatans who focus on fleecing like rich people, like pretending that you're some sort of like noble or low noble and tricking other people out of their money through that. Like that's what that term is usually used for.
Yeah, while I looked through this, I want to point out some things, like how deep this game goes and stuff. Like many games will be like, you can find healing herbs, and they give you +2 to healing or whatever the fuck. This game will be like, oh, you are starting as a physician. Well, here's your bag of preserved healing herbs. You have 5 4-leafed longberries, 2 whirlreeds, 1 of Donf, Menchal, and Olgin roots. See page 160. This book, this game, has a whole fucking book about plants and alchemy. It's fucking... They just published 150 pages of that for the edition I played. With just
That's so cracked.
Wow.
that is cracked but cool. I like this.
Yeah.
Like this is the kind
I
of
like
world
that
building
level
I
of
can
detail.
get into if it's cool otherwise, because then it's not like, you find the thing that gives you +1 to your heal check. No, you find longberries. And longberries, I remember this to this day. Each longberry you eat gives you 1d6 hit points back. And if they are preserved longberries, it's -1. And whirlweed, I believe, I'm not sure about the translation, but there was a second healing weed that's common. You would have to give someone a compress with it, and it would take a day, and then you would get 10 hit points back from that, and so on and so forth. And Donf, I don't remember these. There's a lot of herbs in this game, and then this is how hard this can go, and this to this degree I really enjoy it.
Oh.
Oh? What?
Oh, they're there.
Oh, Trick went for a second. Welcome back.
Drake disappeared for a moment. Welcome back.
Yeah. What the heck?
We have to fix your connection issues,
You
Drake.
died.
Yeah, I have connection issues again. And I think it has to do with the fact that the weather has been horrible here.
It came
It's
back.
possible. But yeah, so yeah, these are the classes. You have to like these are also not very obviously not made equal. Like if you play physician, your combat talents you get +3 to wrestling, +2 to stabs, +2 to daggers, and so on. If you play a warrior in this, your starting skill you get one really good skill +6, one other +4, and then a bunch more of stuff. So this guy is going to be a lot better at fighting than someone else. So the kind of vibe you go for with this is that they want you to go for is that you have like a specialist kind of thing, and the physician is going to do other things well than the warrior. Problem is that a lot of the adventures they write are kind of D&D-ish in that, okay, now in this we are going to go into the dungeon and there's going to be like 20 rooms of stuff that's going to try and kill you, and if you're just the physician and you are not more like given yourself over to be good at combat in some way, it's going to be a bad time. So I can tell you for a fact that it's not optional with most of the stuff they even published to be bad at fighting. Like I remember this very well. There's a long 7-part epic adventure which I played with my friends when we were like old enough to actually play this game, right? You know, we weren't 8 anymore, we were older. Where it literally was like a role. You and like one of the adventures takes place on a jungle island that is in this game. We bought a map and I could show you. It's originally called Madagascar, Marask or something like that. It's supposed to be Madagascar, basically.
Okay.
And there is a giant spider that lives there. And those giant spiders are motherfuckers because they have poison, they have lots of hit points, they have good AC. And this book literally tells you, okay, every day you go through the jungle, you roll a survival check, or it's not called survival, it might be in English. And if you make it, you roll on this chart to see what attacks, what happens. If you don't make it, you roll on the other chart. The good chart has a 1 in 6 chance for like 12 spiders to attack you, and the bad chart has a 50% chance for that to happen. And those spiders will literally kill you in like 2 turns. So if you aren't like skilled in fighting, you are dead in that adventure. And to be fair, it's a high-level adventure. Like you're supposed to be like 10th level or something. But still, it's crazy and cracked and badly done. Like they didn't know what they wrote for those. And I know our DM was like, just sitting there being like, okay, we did this once. Now I'm not gonna do this anymore. We had one spider fight, and they were like, okay, I have like read this through, and I assume you're gonna take a while longer to get to where you need to go. I'm not gonna roll on this table anymore. I can make stuff up that will happen. You're gonna thank me, because then we ended up taking like 20 days, and then we did the rolls ourselves to figure out how many spiders we would have been attacked by literally over 100 spiders. And again, those things are like man-sized monster creatures with a giant stinger that will like pierce your whole torso and then inject you with like a quart of poison. And that was completely stupid. Spider Island, yeah. And
it's so dumb.
This is why like these lofty ideas of you can be a physician and you can heal people and like roleplay that. That's cool. But then don't write such adventures, please. There's also a whole adventure that takes place, and this is great, at a magic academy during a magic tournament. And
but what if I'm a mercenary?
Well,
or a messenger?
Well, I can tell you firsthand because I was a mercenary back in the day when we played that.
Awesome.
And what I did was nothing for like 2 sessions.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that.
That's amazing. It's amazing writing.
Yeah. But then the evil god attacked and we all ate shit, so it's fine. Yeah, where was I? So in this book we get to advantages, disadvantages. These work like what I expect. I explained the good part already, that they sometimes give you a negative stat, which I like. And here's Dwarf Nose. Your hero has developed a supernatural instinct for detecting hidden corridors. Oh, it's that actually. Hidden cavities within stone structures. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. It is not finding money.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there we go. It's usual. This is.
Wait, I swear it used to be the money finding thing, though. I swear it was that at some point. Maybe we played it like.
Honestly.
Yeah, maybe we played it like that. Who knows? And there's like, yes, a bunch of these. You know how it works. You pay. You always go hard on both of these for the points. You know.
Yes.
And then they give you the 20 questions, which is pretty early for a book to have these in, which is good. Yeah. Should you not know what these are like basically asking you, well, what is your character like? Why are they doing what they're doing? Why are they out to adventure?
What does he do?
If you answer these 20 questions, you're going to have an idea about who your character is, which is good. Then we have the talents, which we just already explained. And here's the modifier table, which you really like. Can easily be done unskilled, -7. You might think, well, that's good. What does that mean? So that means the target number is -7.
Oh.
So I can roll 7 over and still make it. Our DM must have really liberally used this negative thing, because I don't remember us failing that often. Has been part of the hero's training is a -3, which is weird, because does that mean if I have a plus to it, I get -3 as well? Because that's a lot of things. Its daily routine, though, is +/-0. That's which I think is really not good. Needs a bit of concentration, +3. We're already at points where I'm like, no, you idiots. If it needs, like, if I shouldn't have to roll on anything that's up to daily routine at all. Because your system is set up in a way where, please, no. Next to impossible, even with equipment, +25. I remind you, this means, since I can only have a 21 in a skill, according to the system, that I have to not only roll below all my things each time, I have to roll a total below of 4 below. Because if I have a minus in something and I roll like on it, and if I roll under, I can add to the minus until it's a 0, basically. And that's also a house rule we did, because it's not in this. The house rule we played with is, if you roll shit, then you can counter it with a good roll later. But this is not what they write in this. It's not how they say it works in this. So yeah, the dice resolution is still bad, and this makes it worse, this table, by a lot.
Yeah, that's why I made the bold statement earlier of the dice system. This is the worst we've seen.
Yeah,
because I could see the knock-on effects of it immediately. When you have fumbles like that, like so easy to have happen, bam, you have an expectation of, oh, this is gonna suck. And then with everything else, just. Ugh.
And by the way, contested rolls on skills, by the way, are a thing. And so whoever gets the best results overall, you have to actually add up everything. And if you like have 5 talent points, you use 2, and then you got this under, the math gets real for literally very little stuff. Blah blah blah. You have talent. Yeah, we already talked about talents. What is an EEC now? I have to look this up. Effective encumbrance? No, is it that? Place a vital part in combat. In a mini combat. Split evenly between attack. Oh yeah, right. If you're encumbered, you take a minus to your. Oh, this is armor, isn't it? Yeah, this would be armor. Yeah. So armor has a armor value and an encumbrance value. So let's say armor has 3 encumbrance and 3 armor class. If I get hit, I subtract 3 from any damage I take, because my armor is a 3 armor class. And but I have to then also, if I have like a 10 to attack and defend, with 3 it would be a 9 and 8. And I think it always goes from defense more than attack. Yeah, but the bottom line is armor in this game is very good. Because the dagger will usually do like a d6 + 1. If you like wear 7 armor, you're immune. 2 daggers, unless the enemy has a very high strength. So yeah, that's how armor works. Is there more to say? What is EC?
Oh, here we go with the abbreviations.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what EC and EEC are. EEC is EC -2. Oh, encumbrance -2. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
all encumbrance stuff.
oh, that's dumb, but I love it in a way. So what this means is, I think Emery just left, by the way, and stayed in the call.
No, I went to the bathroom.
Oh, did they? Okay, cool. So this means basically, if I'm wielding a, let's say, 2-handed blunt weapon, I don't get a minus to my attack and defense until I go over 3 encumbrance of armor. But if I were to wear that armor with like a sword, it would get -1. Because the sword needs a bit more, I guess, finesse in movement. This works because it's a one-time math. I don't like it. I think it's overly finicky.
Yeah, it is a bit.
But it's a one-time thing. You will know what your weapon is and you know what your armor is. So it's an easy thing to be like, okay, I have 5 armor, I have 5 encumbrance from armor. My weapon is a sword, so I take -1 attack, -2 defense. Always.
Yeah.
But I'm wearing it, that's fine. And then we have all the skills. And now we're gonna go through them a little bit and see which one of these is stupid. Body control. This talent is useful in many common but unpleasant situations. Slipping on narrow staircase, falling from a horse. This is basically acrobatics, is body control. Carouse.
But does it have acrobatics above it?
Yeah, I know. I know. This is to keep you from slipping. This is to do cool shit, I guess. Very random array. Carouse. How drunk do you get in the tavern? You have to roll. Which is always a fun time, but why is this a skill? Climb, dance, hide, juggling.
Honestly,
juggling is its own skill.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, the difference between body control and acrobatics looks like an active thing. Like, I want to do a cartwheel.
Yeah.
Whereas body control looks more like, oh no, I have to cartwheel away from the debris.
Yeah, but then... Yeah, but does this even... Why is this a useful distinction? Yep. You can always roleplay that you're only acrobatic in shitty situations. Trouble with abbreviations to my bingo card. You should probably, yeah. I'm just figuring out... So related skill, body control, +5.
Poor situations.
Athletics, +10. What does this mean? Do I get... It can't mean I get 10 and...
I'd love to play a character like that in a game like this. Like, they're absolutely terrible at juggling, but damn it, when a ceiling is collapsing on them, they juggle like crazy.
Related skill. Please tell me what this means. Because these are new. It must be in here somewhere.
Oh, perception has one added layer of complexity to it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Great.
Isn't that nice? We're getting into it. I'm trying to find out what related skills are. Yeah, but it gives you +10 because so it can't be at 10 points because that's so good. Oh, rated talents. Some combat talents encourage when using blah 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 blah. What? It doesn't give me anything. Some combat talents are quite similar to one another, meaning experienced sword fighter can just as easily wield a saber. And using a related weapon, a total of 5 points subtracted from the TP value. Split like 2 points. What?
Wow.
Tries to fight with a weapon that she does not know to use. The hero uses as a base attack. Oh! So you mean to tell me that if I have acrobatics, I can do body control, but it's 5 harder with acrobatics?
Oh, using acrobatics.
That's really nothing. That means it's useless.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Okay, good to know.
Reminds me of this whole system.
Yeah. So, okay, we continue. We have juggling as a skill. A literal skill. It's as important as height. Perception. Let's see what perception has. Depending what senses are used, it's different rolls. Tactile sense. How often do you roll tactile? Who cares? Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Pickpockets, fair enough. Right, fair enough. Sing.
Roll tactile sense right
There's no bot in this game, which like gives you a plus d6 to your thing. So sing is kind of as a skill. Okay, fine.
Nura, stick your hand into this box and feel what you can't see here. Roll tactile sense. It's just great. It's not eyeballs.
What if it's eyeballs though? I mean, I don't mind.
No. That's why you gotta know. You gotta make a roll.
I want to get into. There's a Skald, which is like a magic professional singer guy in the previous edition. So I assume that they need sing, otherwise it's kind of meh. Voice mimicry. Okay.
Yeah. That's actually a really good one.
It's a good skill. I don't mind it, except that with what we have established about this, you're never gonna make it. Also enjoy that that you have a minus to this if you're wearing heavy armor. What? Why? I just realized. Why is that? What? I guess if you have like a big helmet on, it's hard to understand you. So it's what the fuck? Yeah, muffled voice, but what? You take the helmet off.
I really do like the idea of like, and it's like nobody can understand you. And I said I would pay 20 gold for that harlot, and I will not take a single penny less.
Oh my god, it's so dumb.
And he just slaps the helmet back down. I don't even think when you speak Okay. I really do like the idea of like shouting through your helmet. I'm a big fan of this. When am I going to get more of this?
Social talents.
Like the pack mule of the group, just dropping all their stuff, and then abruptly they're better at that skill.
Yeah.
That's actually badass. Yeah, that's like it's like fucking Rock Lee. You drop the weights.
Yes.
You can also drop your weights to be better at etiquette.
Yes.
Fast talk is another one.
I hurt so bad. This sucks.
Human nature.
No. Not more.
A human nature test helps the hero notice and understand the true plans of a character played by the High Lord. So this is sense motive or whatever.
Oh, weird.
It's just a weird name for it.
I just saw that there's a left-handed talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that gives you a bonus to your first attack against someone, I believe. At least what it used to be.
Yeah. It lets you parry better.
Okay, they changed it then.
That's very strange.
You have Persuade, Masquerade, which also, by the way, they all give you. It varies from no incumbents to EC times to what do you mean? Persuade, seduce, streetwise, teach, blind escape, which is a nature skill. If your hero wants to tie someone up, bind escape, not blind, I'm dumb. So binding and escaping from binding is the same thing. Fish. Very important to have its own skill. Orientation, survival. 2 skills makes total sense. I know what direction I'm going, but I can't survive. Really important. Track, traps, weather sense, lore talents. Now we get to the really the stuff where it's like, oh yeah, anatomy, animal lore, appraise, arcane lore. Board games. Wow. Calculate.
Wow.
We need to have a counter for games that actually have a board game skill in them.
I think we're at 2 right now.
Yeah, at least the 2. Yeah. Engineering
skill in certain situations. Warcraft.
Yeah. Oh, Warcraft is its own knowledge skill. I already know that.
Yes.
Geography.
Well, yeah, I mean you got to learn how the raid bosses function.
Heraldry. No, that's no. RTS. history, language lore,
I like how hard you sand
legend lore, plant lore, religious lore, StarCraft.
StarCraft in here.
Yeah, StarCraft and Warcraft are both in here.
They just need a skill called Diablo and we're good.
Stone lore. Talent. Skill in this talent means that your hero is able to recognize various types of stone for construction purposes, and also enables her to search for mineral veins or vein of gems or precious metals. This includes basic knowledge of the material properties of the various types of stone and gemstones. Isn't it lovely that we get this skill? Is this very important skill that everyone has and needs? And then you get
power up my dwarf nose and combine it with stone lore.
And then you get lastly language and scripts, which is like you can learn to talk a language and you separately learn to write it, which I kind of enjoy, because I do dislike kind of the idea that every character in D&D, for example, can just read. That should not be the case in many settings, at least.
Yeah, I did kind of like the. I like that was tied to intelligence in some earlier editions, where it's like if you have under a certain amount. Like I used to house rule it where if you have under 8, you can't read, and if you have under 10, it takes you like I think twice the amount of time to read or something like that.
What Sonnet says, by the way, like I make fun of StarCraft, but it's one of the more useful ones because the stars will directly tell you which god's month it is. And if it's about to be the demon days, because there's literally 5 days of the year in Adventuria, which are called the days of the nameless god, which are the bad days, where it's gonna be where the biblical plagues are gonna come, and they're gonna fuck you up. And you better stay at home and let no one in, because literally if you go into if you come out of the wilderness during these 5 days and you go into like a hamlet somewhere, those people are going to come out of their houses with their pitchforks and sickles. They're going to kill you because you're an outsider and they don't know you, because you are probably a demon. And they are correct, because there's one adventure where you're outside during this, where literally the setup is, well, you're traveling along the road, and then you realize that tomorrow it's Day of the Nameless. Fucking good luck, my dudes. And everyone at the table, wait, my character's a wizard. My character is very smart. I have good StarCraft. Why am I out here? What the fuck? And
then you run away and you let your friends all fucking
No,
die.
but you can't run away because you're 5 days out from the town. It's one of the worst adventures I've ever played, by the way, just to make this clear. But it's not officially published to make this a concept more bad, and it is very bad in this.
I feel like this is just pretty bad, guys. I'm gonna be real. I think this is just not good.
And then we have tongues, and that's it. Tongues is like foreign language skills. Each of these is like blah. Here's here's all of the different ones you can have, blah blah blah. And then we have artisan skills, which are alchemy, blacksmith, boats, bowyer, butcher, cartography, cheat, which is funny, cook, drive, farming, leathercraft, light engineering, mining, paint, draw, pickpocket, play instrument, seafaring. Like boats is not enough, you have to have seafaring. Stonecutter, jeweler, stonemason, tailor, tanner, furrier, tattoo, train animals, treat disease, treat poison, treat wounds, woodcraft. I will tell you right now, these are too many skills. Cut your fucking list in half.
Yeah.
No one cares. Also, one of the best adventures ever in D&D is the profession skill. Profession tailor. Profession, I don't know.
100%. I actually loved that. I really liked that.
Yeah. Like everything.
I enjoyed having that, because then you have stuff like profession tactician, which was like a really weird one.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, that's my job. I work for mercenary companies as a tactician, and that's cool. That says a lot about your character.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they have to. Here's the thing, which I've glossed over so far, but which is the explanation for why these are here.
Yep.
Stone cutting needs intuition, dexterity, and dexterity. A stonemasonry needs dexterity, and strength. This is why they are fucking listed. Because they couldn't be like, profession, come up with 2 to 3 attributes that you need to do it. Because it isn't hard, right? To know that if I'm a gem cutter, I don't really need to be very strong to do that. I mainly need to be very, very precise. So dexterity is important. But if I'm a stonemason, I probably need some strength. So let's put that in there. Like there should be a profession, pick 2 or 3 attributes, roll, done. And then maybe 2 or 3 examples of that.
Yeah.
It's just And then we get to combat rules. I already went over this. I want to make sure if we get more than 1 parry or not. Because the basic thing didn't mention it, but I want to get an example of play or something. Combat talents. And they explain the combat talents here, blah, blah, blah. You have different weapons. It's understandable. It's not very hard to understand. Standard action, attack action. Oh, it's worse. It's worse. Yes, it's worse. Okay, here's the fun part. Here's the fun part. Yes. So in the previous edition, you always had 1 attack, 1 defense. In this edition, you have 2 actions. And would you like to do 2 attacks? Well, you have no defense anymore because you did attack twice. Would you like to not die? Well, would you like to only defend, then you don't attack? I hate it. It's terrible. It's terrible flow.
Yeah, that blows.
It's terrible flow. Because, yes, what do you expect will happen? Like, if my non-combat character gets attacked, I'm probably not even gonna attack myself.
No.
I'm just gonna defend, double defend, and wait for my enemy to miss. Because then I have the chance to use one of my actions to attack instead on my turn. But I will never lead with an attack against someone I think might be better than me at fighting. If that makes sense. Because if I double attack a guy and he's gonna be like, well, pling pling, I parried you both, then I just wasted my shit and someone else can just stab me. And if I double attack and he parries 1, I hit once, but then maybe he just didn't do a parry at all and now he attacks me back and I can't parry at all. It's a huge disadvantage to attack first in this for this reason, because if I miss an attack, I just gave my enemy a free attack. It's the worst.
It blows.
That's terrible.
Like, imagine just having 15 attack and you roll 16 twice, and then you get owned by a guy who's way worse than you because oh no. Dumb. Okay.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, this is actually, they made it actually worse. That's fucking amazing to me. A certain skill, certain special things you can do to quick draw stuff. Who cares? It's too way too into it. Here's armor. So I went over this. Like a chainmail shirt has 3 armor, 3 endurance, encumbrance. Weighs this much, costs this many silver thaler. Yeah. What I love is that the Horatian leather cuirass is plate mail. It's mounted knight plate. The heaviest plate. It's called leather cuirass. I don't know why, but it was like this in the German version as well.
Weird.
Yeah. And then you can also accessorize with, like, if you only have a chain shirt on, you can wear like greaves, which give +1/+1, and a cap, which gives you +1/+1, and so on and so forth. There isn't really like a directional attack, so you can't just hit someone in the head for where they don't have armor on. It's just like if you wear a cap, you just get a bonus. Which is the worst of both worlds, because
that's great.
There is the best armor in this, and surprise, surprise, it's the one that has the least EC for the most AR. So it's the Garathian plate, 6/4. It's pretty good. You might also go with the there was another one that's good, the Cuirass, which is 3/2, which is really good, because 2 usually means you get nothing bad anywhere. And then you put like certain items on that also have 2-1 for the Morion, for example. I believe it's a specific helmet. And then you just have a 5-3, which is way better than if you wore the Mirror Mail for 5-4, and so on and so forth. That's just min-maxing in this little armor chart, which is dumb.
That's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah.
So glad.
And what else is there to say? Shields give you a minus to. They don't give armor. They give you a -2 attack and a bigger bonus to defend, to parry.
That sucks.
Yeah, they're not great. Except the Great Shield. Haha. It's generally worth it. And you can min-max pretty well, because your maximum stat is, I believe, 17 parry, 18 attack.
Okay.
So it is worth going a certain route that you get, like with my shield I have 17. And the rest goes into attack and stuff like that. And obviously, like, no one is going to use the reinforced wood shield with 2-3, -2 + 3. Everyone is going to use the great leather shield with -1 + 4. Like, why would I even... Why? Or you just get the metal buckler with no minus and a +2, and the only thing you have to have is the hand free. Like, it's dumb as fuck on its face to make these things be differently able. The only... Like, the best part is the buckler costs 90, and the metal buckler costs 60, and is better.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's just there. It's just, they just wrote it like it weighs half a pound more. It doesn't fucking matter at all. But when you are 12 and called Nora, this is like you min-max your heart out on these pages with your character. Because you don't know other games. Oh, here's the fumble chart. Great. Yeah, this is good. This chart is great. Weapon destroyed on a 2 on 2d6. So 1 in 36 chance your weapon just breaks. It's damaged beyond use. This is, by the way, can happen if you parry or attack. This is always.
Oh, okay. That's really bad.
You can fall, you get a minus to stuff. You can trip, which is... we never played with the 2. We always said the 2 is just also fall, because that's complete garbage. Because in this game, usually the like, I get it, weapons break. I get it. But a lot of the time, it's like, it shouldn't be an all or nothing game. It should be like, yeah, the weapon is nicked. Oh yeah, that's right. RDM made like a system where the first one of these would not matter, but it would like, okay, you have to repair your weapon in the next town. And then if you had like 3 total of this, which just never happens, because it's again 2 on 2d6, after you roll a 20, then eventually your weapon will break. So it's like, that kind of works. And then you can also hit yourself into your... Oh, it does your weapon damage. Okay, but subtract directly from VI as DP, ignoring armor. Yeah, this is bad. Oh yeah, this is the real strat, by the way. You double parry all day long and wait for the enemy to die of their own self-mutilation. Happens more than you think. Because, again, it's 1 in 20 to fumble, and then it's a 1 in 12 to... 1 in 36 to just have this happens. Or injured by own weapon is also an 11, which is the normal one, and self-mutilation is no armor. And then dropped, like, you often waited for one of these to happen, and then you went all out on someone in the combat. It was the exact opposite of fighting in a heroic way, but you're supposed to be a hero in this. Like, you play the gallant knight, but then, oh, my enemy, I don't know, tripped. Well, I guess I double stabbed them in the back now, because it's easy. Not great. Then you get your minuses, or rather pluses, because you added to the die roll for your circumstances, which, fine. A bit high, in my opinion. But usually, like, everyone gets the same stuff, because fighting in darkness affects everyone, and so on and so forth. some rules for unarmed combat, for being in a fight in a bar. Fine, don't care. Doesn't need specific rules in my opinion.
No, you need specific rules. That'd be way cooler.
Okay. Distance, and there's distance rules and how big a target is for you to shoot anything with your bow. And then there's iron, heavy cross. Oh, these are specific weapons. Describing the weapons. Okay. A lot of these have dumb names, like the Jarda and stuff, because these are just named after a weapon that's in the culture they use. Like, we're gonna get a lot of this, more of this here. Kunchoma is a curved sword from the town of Kunchom, and so on and so forth. A Wakwif is a religious dagger the Novadis use, and you can't take it away from them because they will hate you. And so on and so forth. There's the Rondra comb. Rondra is the goddess of war, and her comb is like it's a flame-edged sword, and so on and so forth.
Valid.
These things are cool in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, I love this. The Andergaster is just like the biggest Zweihänder in the setting. It's like, this is a weapon you need like a high strength to even use, and it does the most damage, but good luck wielding it unless you're like Andre the Giant, whatever the fuck. A lot of setting shit is in here, and a lot of it is it's fine in a vacuum, and it's kind of hooks you in, and then you have to play the game, and that's
then you have to play the game.
And then you immediately lost the game. Yeah. There's some rules about dwarves that have dwarves can't use the biggest weapons because they're just not high, not like
you're too fucking
tall enough, but they're very sturdy. Blah 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 blah. Long jumping and high jumping. Yes, here's your rules you expect to come to eventually. Like, how high can I jump? They didn't forget anything. They just made bad rules. How much can?
That's the big problem with this game that I don't like. Where it's just like, it's just not fun.
How much can my dog carry? Well, 15 great pounds apparently. These kind of things. The shit like this, as superfluous as it is to give me this table, it kind of shows that they at least played this game and like knew what could go in, what questions could come up.
Yeah.
Like, how many pounds of silver can we put on this ox that we found? I guess 180 because the table says so. Like, it might come up at one point. And then it's better to just have the number, I guess. Could also just be like, I don't know, enough. But meh. Like I like
that answer better though.
Yeah, the longer I get is the older I get. It's like, yeah, you don't need these specific numbers. Like, who cares how many pounds fit on you get on the camel? Just roll to actually appease the camel so you can load it. That's more interesting to me. And you have the advancement cost. Like, you get XP, and you can put it directly into increasing attributes and skills. It used to be that you get a level up eventually, which is very D&D-like in the old system, where you just then had a chance to roll on all your stats, which takes forever, and you have a chance to increase all your talents, and then you roll to have a chance to increase your attributes, which obviously shit. Weirdly, everyone always made those rolls. Like, you have to roll over your stat, and weirdly, if you have a 17, you manage to do it all the time. It's so weird. Like, everyone cheated for those level ups, including me. Like, fuck that. Fuck getting level 5 and getting no stat increase for it. Fuck you. No, I'm gonna get my stat increase. Or at the very least, the house rule, everyone used, like, you roll your d20. Okay, which stats can you raise with that? Well, you can't raise your highest, but you can raise your next highest. It's also gonna give you a combat bonus, so you raise that one. That is the least cheat I saw with that, literally. And then, but the problem here is with this system now. In the old system, they would have, like, they would be very sure that even the best warrior in the game at level 2 would have at most 14 strength and at most a plus 11 to sword, because it starts with a plus 10 and gets a 1 bonus at most. In this, if I play the warrior and I know what sword I have in my hand, I'm going to be like, okay, I pump every point I get into sword.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fighter, of course I do that, right? It makes total sense. However, that leads to the problem that if I play with this physician we mentioned earlier, and the physician's like, well, I'm a physician, I'm gonna like spread some into heal wounds, some into heal poison, some into heal disease, and then I'm gonna get anatomy skill and so on and so forth. That guy is gonna have even worse fighting stats really quickly and feel even less useful in the fight, and so it ends up being everyone just raises their combat immediately, or their magic if they have it, and it completely makes the system fall apart in play, in my opinion, because the bonuses get so high. And then you are at a point where everyone is like 18 attack, 17 defense, and you just stand there clang, 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 clang. Oh, he critically missed. I have a chance to hit him. And on turn 5 of combat, and the combat, nothing happened the whole combat because every attack was parried, and you can't even imagine how quickly you just devolve into no, you miss, now you miss, he parried, no, he parried, yeah, he parried still. Like, you stop explaining it because it can't be explained in an interesting way. It's just why D&D combat works so well is that it's always, oh, does he hit me? Like, I know I'm defending. That is implied with my armor class. Defending is in there at all times. So if he hits me, he got under my defense and hit me. Yes. But in this, there's literally
something active here.
Yeah,
there's something active to be explained.
Yeah, the active defense in this makes it way more passive. Because again, if I have my max parry of 17, the chance I get hit is 15%. So an attack that hits me has a 15% chance of extra hitting me.
Okay, I've recovered from like, you hit me a little bit and I was in my corner, I was reeling, and my coach was like hitting me on the back. They're like, get in there, you bum. Come on, Emery. It's round 14. You got 2 more. Let's go. Anyways, I'm back in. Okay. I've recovered. I'm back in. My dukes are back up. So I'm going to go on a patented Emery fencing rant.
Mm-hmm.
Where it talks about how combat works again.
Yeah,
like I always do. So the thing with fighting, like hand-to-hand or knife fighting or fencing, whatever you're doing, melee combat, you are always defending. It's why I like armor class.
Yeah, exactly.
I've explained I like armor class. There's always fencing nerds, the Shadiversity types are like, well, you gotta have the active and then the passive. So the armor, it's the passive. So when you get hit, it doesn't hurt you. And then you're actively trying to move the weapon. These are guys who know nothing about fencing. They're fucking idiots. Defense is always active. You are always actively looking at putting steel between you and the other person. That's why you always have a fore and a backhand when you're boxing, because hey, your forehand is for the defense. Yeah. That's why I box southpaw. Mm-hmm. Because using my left hand to defend and my right hand to do full body punches is way better for me. Yes. I know a lot of right-handed guys box southpaw so that they can throw their whole weight into their right hand punches because they know that's the arm that's going to hit harder. But like that's the problem. You are always actively defending. Armor class is pretty accurate to how you work. Like, that's why I used to like, I'm gonna shill for my favorite version of that type of system. I liked flat-footed because that meant somebody was hitting you in a way that you can't defend, right? So like somebody hits you from stealth. That's why sneak attacks were so cool in 3rd edition, because sneak attacks, something that people don't usually know, hit you at your flat-footed AC because you're not defending.
Yep.
And it was the idea, can you throw off your balance, right? You hit them with this ability, it doesn't matter if they block, your next attack is going to be made against flat-footed. And that was a really good way to model, like, you pressing somebody, like pressing an attack. If I made my own system, melee combat would be based on, you know, your active and then your flat-footed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
No, I agree with that.
Because that's good. That works. That functions.
Yeah, for me,
you know, and then you also get a lot of things where you have active moves. I'm sorry, I'll be done. Like, let's say you do like a sweeping attack against everybody in front of you. Now that can leave you flat-footed, so you're doing some big flourishing move, and now you're easier to hit because you've done all of this stuff. I hope you killed the guys in front of you with your cool sweeping flourish move.
Yeah. Jake, you had something to say? Because I have another tangent I want to go on.
Well, Oh no, please go on your tangent first.
No, you do it first. My tangent's gonna take a while.
I love this. I love this setup where we all have rants and it's no, you please.
No, please.
Go forward. Goofy gopher says.
No, I completely agree with you regarding AC and how it just plain works.
Yeah.
And then keying everything off on that, like flat-footed worked really well for what it was way back when we were doing it all the time. And people that have tried to add more onto that, it's just made it worse.
Yes.
So going back to that simplification of, okay, I have a few things on my sheet of touch, my normal AC, and then my flat-footed AC.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind going back to that.
I would be fine with that as well. Here's now the thing.
The only thing I would remove is touch AC because I think regular and flat-footed works just fine.
Yeah, touches. You only
I always thought
really
it was
use for spells.
fine.
Like I feel like if I can get touched and then like a necromantic energy is gonna sap me to death, maybe I want to defend actively against it, and maybe it should be like not the touch thing, because I would defend against that touch like it's a fucking. That's
attack, why
right?
I've never liked it that much, because like if somebody's gonna reach their hand out and try to hit you, it doesn't matter if they're just trying to touch you. Like you want to keep that hand off. It's like if you this is gonna be a really weird one. Trust me, I'm gonna go somewhere. If you have somebody who has a really thick rubber glove, it's covered with a neurotoxin, and they're gonna like reach out and touch you, and it has to touch your flesh, you're gonna try to keep that hand away from you. Like and
then you get to the point that's in there, which is but what if the other party doesn't know it's better than flat-footed? Yeah. Like if a guy comes, there's two options. If a guy comes at me with a dripping rubber glove, I'm probably gonna defend regardless of what I think is happening, because I don't want to get touched by whatever goo is on there. But if it's like, well, a guy is attacking me with a sword, another guy is trying to touch my shield, I will probably defend against the sword guy first, because he's always more dangerous. And then I find out, the other guy was a wizard.
Yeah, and he just fucking decayed my shield by using some
exactly.
dumbass like rust touch.
But then, as soon as I know he's a wizard, then I would defend against those, because you don't need touch, kinda. It's fair. So, but here's the thing I want to get to. So in D&D, we don't usually have impactful attacks in the sense that one attack ends a fight, right? It's rare. It can happen especially with spells. But if a fighter goes in and hits the big boss with his sword one time, the expectation wouldn't be, well, the fight is over now, we won. No, it would be takes 20 damage or whatever. We continue. Like the health bar at the top of the boss moved like 1 pixel to the left from that attack. That's what we expect, kinda. So in D&D works because the resolution is very quick. I know I roll against the target number, and if I make it, I do damage. Easy, quick. Shadowrun, the reverse. I attack, they defend. But if I hit, it's impactful. If I hit the big boss with my attack, I expect that to be like half his health or something like that. Unless I'm like very badly built for what I'm doing. I expect it to be impactful if I hit. Which is why active defenses work. Now let's look again at how bad it is here. Because we are arriving at a system which is neither quick nor impactful. And that's really, really, really bad. So let's make a competent first level character. Let's give them a bastard sword and a +10 to their attack. And let's say they have 8 base. That means they have an attack of 13, a defense of 13, let's just say. And the bastard sword will do 1d6 plus 5 damage if it hits. That is an average damage of 8.5, let's say 9. Let's even say 10. So my attack, and he fights an equal dude, which also has these stats. And let's say they always do 1 attack, 1 parry, just to make this easier. So here I attack, my attack chance is 65%. The defense chance, if I hit, is also 65%. Meaning more than 2/3 of all attacks don't go through. If my attack goes through, it does 9 damage. Meaning, so far I might call that impactful, because if we have 30 hit points, 9 damage is impactful. 9 to 10 damage is 1/3 of my health there. However, these dudes have armor on. These dudes have like 5 armor. So they reduce the damage they take by 5 points. So they, on average, take 4 points of damage. So now I need like 8 attacks to down one of them, or 7. And let me remind you that only 1/3 of attacks actually does any damage at all. Less than 1/3. So after 4 rounds of combat, I will have done 5 damage to a guy who has 30 health. On average. In that ballpark is what we are talking about. That is terrible.
Man, there's like... You know, we have these systems sometimes where we just look at it and we go, all right, there's just too much to unpack. I said the one good thing I was going to say about this game 2 hours ago, and it's that I like the base dice system of resolution, of rolling under a target number that is defined by 2 different attributes added together. That is the only good thing I have to say about this. The rest of it is just like, man, why? Like, why do you design things this way? Why would you do this? Like, it's just, it's such a waste.
And then there's also just like the idea that a lot of these weapons, like you just pick the best one you can.
Yeah.
Like bastard sword, this says 2-handed here, but if you have a good strength, it's a 1-handed weapon. So it's just one better than the sword. You always pick bastard sword. And then if you can do it, pick the Undergaster for 3d6 plus 2, except you are an idiot because it's the same average as you're picking the other one, which is actually half a point more if you take
yet again,
this thing.
The Emery Big Brain fencing take is that all swords are the same. They're just swords. Like,
it should.
I remember the biggest argument I ever had doing HEMA was this dude who was arguing the differences between the Claymore, the Spadon, and the fucking Zweihander, and I was like, yeah, big swords.
Yes, this is indeed true. Like, let's look at just sword. Short sword, fair enough. It's a short sword. There's uses to that potentially. Would it do less damage than a sword? I don't know if you would really say it makes a difference in damage if you get hit.
Theoretically. The reality is that all swords basically just kill you.
Yeah.
And the real difference between them is not damage but range. But
this system doesn't care about range though. Yeah. It's the thing. They have a length that here does nothing. Nothing.
Nothing at all, yeah.
It tells you kind of if you can maybe get your DM like, but I'm in second row, I have a bill, can I still hit him? Yeah, okay, fine, maybe. It reaches long enough. But there isn't really any rules for that as far as I know. And then some weapons have a built-in minus or plus to attack and defend. Like a knife is not made for fighting, like this is literally like a kitchen knife. And so it has a minus here, which is fair. This is fair. These are kind of okay. Because a long dagger is your best dagger, it has a 0/0. That works for me. It's okay. But then this should be basically the only table you ever put on weapons, because I don't care if a cutlass or kunshoma. What the fuck does it even mean that this does 1 more damage? Why? It's both a curved sword. Emery's right. Like, man, who cares? But then obviously, if I'm a saber fighter, like my class says saber on it, I take the kunshoma because it does 1 more damage. Oh, I will never use anything else. It's the best one. Just don't have the other shit. Like the Wakwiff should be a dagger, by the way. It's a curved dagger. I don't know why it's in here. Like it's literally like the dagger in the real world a Sikh would have on their belt. One of those. I know those can be very big, and then they were like, oh, this is the religious weapon. You have to allow me to carry my 2-handed dagger with me, but whatever. This thing is supposed to be like, I don't know, 10 inches long. And then, all of these just have a best one. And usually the only difference is if it's 2-handed, like your great spear, best spear, but 2-handed. So best spear, actually hunting spear, because it's d6 plus 6. Actually better than using a sword at all times. A spear-based system.
Oh, this was made by Spear Bros.
Yeah, apparently. And then...
hey, guess what? All of you who want spears to be the best weapons in tabletops, this is the system you'll make. Good job. Spear Bros must die. All of them, these shit-flinging losers.
All weapons are valid if you're trained with them. There you go. There's your rules.
Loving their fucking loving their stupid pointed stick that cavemen used to use. Use a sword like a refined gentleman.
Yeah, I don't agree with you there, but I would say who cares? Who cares generally?
No, I just like making fun of the spear dudes. They're so mean.
Emery, it's a new thing I'm trying where I take your stuff at face value and just say yes and.
What? Why? You can't do that. That defeats the whole purpose of the bit. You can't dismiss me.
I know, it's fine. Okay, then whatever.
Awful.
I want to get to more shit in this book because we aren't done.
How is there more?
There's magic, Emery. It's magic. Your favorite bit of every system.
My favorite bit.
Okay, we have to get back to a few concepts.
Okay. Guys, I actually kind of like some of the magic in this system.
Oh yeah,
I do kind of like some of it. I think it's kind of cool.
Some of it is good.
The magic in this
ideas here.
Yeah, the magic in this is good. It's let down by the basic mechanics once again.
Yes.
And we will get to why. So let's start with they explain some things. I can explain on like on a example spell though. It's pretty easy to explain. Let me find one. There's like one thing to know about this. That all these spells have very flowery names. Like I cast not Identify, but I cast Analytica Arcana.
Okay, so this is the issue that I have. Do you know why spells have generic names?
Because it's so that it's easy to get to understand what's happening. However,
it's
this one,
not even that it's easy to understand what's happening. It's easier to find and reference. The spells that people have a hard time finding in the books are the ones with the more flowery names.
I know, but
like Nistul's magic aura. But people hate finding that shit.
But in this one, there's no advantage to having all the spells are like this, so you just look them up by name, and you have Analytica Arcana written on your sheet, so you kind of know that it exists. Blah blah blah. So you look at this isn't the bad one. I agree that this is
at least 10 actions. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use this one because it's a bad example. It's not this is an out of combat spell. It's identify. You take a minute to identify something. It's fine. So let's look at. I want to find an attack. I like Claudibus Clavastibor. This is a spell that locks the door, and this is why it's called that, because it fucking rhymes. That's exactly that. It can, I think, also open them, but who cares? Duplicators is exactly what you would think. It creates a double of you. Foraminor. Oh, this is the one that opens, I think. Yeah, this is the one that opens the lock. And the other one closes the lock. 2 spells for that.
Absolutely convinced that they are only named this way so that people can go like, no, say it at the table, say the thing.
You do that. You do that.
Say the thing.
Yeah, you do that. Horyphobos is a fear spell. Who would have thought? And now we get to the Ignifaxius.
Come on, man! It's 2022. We're beyond horophobia.
Yeah, we get to the Ignifaxius, which is a fire line spell, kind of like it's single target fire spell. So origin guild magic, meaning elves cannot have it to start. Technique: the caster raises her right hand to her shoulder, concentrates, then suddenly points at her target with her index and middle fingers. For casting time, 4 actions. It
takes 4 actions to finger gun at somebody.
Yeah, it does, because you have to suddenly do it. They can't expect it, Emery. You have to stand there. It's like if you excuse me there, it's like Elden Ring. The enemies big hammers hovering over you. When do you dodge? After 2 seconds? No, that's too early. You're gonna get hit now. If you have to dodge after 3 seconds, that's what that is. So then you get a test for it, which is cleverness, agility, and dexterity. You roll these against your number you have in this one spell. And then we get to the cost. It's the number of HP and ASP. And we get to what that means in a second. Range is 21 paces, which is fucking laughable. So the range is like lower than D&D spells, which are very low range in my opinion, a lot of them. I get why they are, because you don't want to make mages be artillery, but still it's kind of dumb. Duration is instant. Once you spend your 4 actions, it's instant, which is yeah. The effect does not linger, is what they mean here. And then effect: a ray of raw elemental power shoots from the caster's fingers. A lens made from fire and light. Prior to casting, the mage user decides how many d6 of damage her fiery lens should inflict. She may choose the number of damage dice up to her SP, so her ability in this spell. After successfully casting her spell, the dice rolls are totaled into 1 HP sum. For each HP inflicted, the target also takes 1 point from his armor classes. The armor melts off of them or burns off of them, unless clad in a fastness volley spell. A target may also take a wound or become incapacitated on the spot. Wounds are basically a way to give you minus to everything in this. It's kind of another way to get a minus. And they take a long time to heal. We didn't get into healing because healing is just a heartbreaker. It's just some healing. My healing takes a long time unless you use magic. I don't really care to explain it. But why is this bad? So let's see. Firstly, your mage stands there for 2 full turns, and at the end of the second turn, they cast this spell. Should they get hit during this, the rule is in here somewhere. Any damage they take is a 1-to-1 difficulty modifier for the cast, for the rest of the cast. So if a mage stands there and starts shouting Ignifaxius, you have 4 attacks to kill him, and probably need one of them to hit to make the spell fizzle. That is the first way in which this is bad. The second way in which this is bad is that you do a number of damage equal to your astral points. Your astral points, if I remind you, are 3 attributes divided by 2 plus a modifier. The modifier for a wizard is 6. So a wizard would have at most at first level 39, so let's say 26 magic points. So if it's a 1-to-1 damage to thing, you cannot kill a dude on the street with your magic fire because he has 30 hit points. And you have 26 magic points. And now we get to the really bad part about this. And the part that fucks you over so much. So we all know the bad feeling of being a wizard in D&D and having no spells.
Yeah.
And in 5th edition being reduced to casting cantrips, or in earlier editions being reduced to trying to hit with a crossbow because that's better than doing a d4 of damage with your cantrip kind of thing, if you even have it. In this, so you have 26, let's say even 30 magic points to start. You can get to 30, I think, if you buy the advantage. You regenerate 1d6 points per night of magic. So with 30 points on average, it will take you like 8 days to have full magic again after casting yourself out of magic.
Oh, fucking God.
And now we get to the next good part. But you might say, well, what about potions though? Well, I told you earlier that there's like this one lake, right? Where the magic grass grows that gives you magic points back.
That's the magic grass.
Yeah. Let me just find the map. I think it's at the back of this book. Okay. The magic lake is up here, is this. It's a big lake.
Uh-huh.
Say you are a mage from, let's say from I don't know, from here.
Yeah.
This is a hard to read how many miles this is. This is 40, 80. So 200 miles is like, I think it's 200 miles. It's supposed to be 200 miles. So we are talking about like 1,000 miles. How likely do you think it is that some dude transported those plants over there? Oh yeah, by the way, you can't grow them. You have to like find them. Essentially, this was a super recurring problem in this game for every wizard, and why I never played wizards in this, is that most get like 2-3 casts of spell and then you are just out. And you will be out for the rest of the adventure.
All right.
And you can cast with your health, with your hit points. It is a skill you can. There's some further way to do it. I don't remember what exactly it was, but it's still basically a 1-to-1. You pay, and it's worse than 1-to-1.
Wow.
So,
okay. All right.
So you can kill yourself pretty quickly with that.
Excellent. Let me just go ahead and do that right now.
Which is why no one casted the Ignifaxius. There's another spell which is called Fulminictus, which is not in here. Which is an elvish spell, which costs like I think 7 points and always does 3d6 damage.
Oh, badass!
Yeah.
Elves winning. Elves stay winning.
But here's the real one you do, and it is the dumbest one, and it is also the one that everyone had to do. Guild mages get a magic staff they can enchant, and the fourth enchant, or maybe it's the third, it doesn't really matter, is a magic sword you can make out of your thing.
Oh, badass.
And here's how that works. Your magic sword always has 15 to attack.
Uh-huh.
And you can thus put all your points in sword into defense. Meaning, if you have an 8 in your defense stat, which is pretty good for magic, so you have a 7, you need a 10 in sword to have the maximum defense, which is pretty reachable, pretty early. And then every attack you do does one, if it hits, does 1d6 plus, I think, your level damage, or it's plus 6 or something. It does a high damage, more than a normal sword would do, because it's on fire. And it also costs, I think, 2 or 3 points of magic. So every wizard in this game, once the dice are down, will use that for, firstly, because it is good, secondly, because it is cheap, and thirdly, pretty quickly, because the other options are too expensive.
Yeah, you gotta ball on a budget here.
Yeah, because it's like
You can't exactly be.
yeah, because in the way the healing is, in that the healing spell is like, oh, we have to do healing spells because otherwise I get like wound infections and shit. I don't know if there must be healing spell. Bomb of healing it is.
Jim, you got gangrene because Bobby here decided to shoot a fireball yesterday.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Bobby goes home without pizza and has to go write an essay of the encyclopedia.
You spend 1-to-1 on this, and you always can. This is the way to heal wounds, and you always get wounds, so you always have to heal them. So someone has to have bomb of healing. So by the way, that physician you can play is garbage because he can't really heal wounds in any good way. It takes forever to do. So
why is he here?
Yeah, because it's a low magic setting, Emery. Magic is supposed to be rare and weird.
God, blow me! Oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Well, you have a magician over here basically being a Jedi constantly for low cost.
Yeah. The magician is a better fighter than the fighter.
Yeah.
And
that's literally what it is.
The roots are... Here's the third band, Wedge. Yeah.
Somebody take out my lightsaber. I mean wizard staff.
Oh, they don't give it to you here. The core roots don't give you the fourth enchant, so you can't do it. Okay. But actually more balanced that way, but I know it's in the full game, because I know that this edition. Yeah, the guy who always played a wizard in my game back then always used the magic sword. And everyone else, when they could, use the bow. Or a ranged weapon of some kind, just because you you can't parry them.
Master, man.
Yeah, it is. It is just less deadly.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Rollmaster, but it's not over as quick.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
You don't need the board because you just have enough defense, Night Blast. But yes, you are correct. Here's goblins. They have 1d6 plus 2 hit point. No, that's damage. Their VI, AR, EG, wait. So 14 hit points. Vitality is 14. Endurance is 20. AR varies. The stats are pretty quick for monsters in this.
Well, that's good. At least that's quick.
Yeah. And there you have it. This is Dark Eye. So unicorn stats, yes, the undead.
Yeah, so you guys can now understand, those of you in the audience, where we played about 60 hours of this, and by the end of it, we were all gibbering like gibbons and throwing shit at each other and yelling at each other.
Well, I understand why it's called Dark Eye now. That's what you give the guy who suggests you fucking play this game.
Yeah. Oh, here's the herbs. You found the herbs. Great.
So after said session in which we started throwing stuff at each other, we told the dude who suggested Dark Eye and ran it for those sessions to go home, and we all went out and got a drink and went to go get food.
Yeah. So you literally
made the joke about Prime Directive.
I was just gonna say, you sent your DM.
Yes.
Sent your DM home without pizza.
Yeah, he got to go home. We all went out to the bar and had a good time.
Yeah. Like,
because we were done. The guy, by the way, we never saw him again. He never came back to the club. He never came back.
He knew. His shame. Shame was too great.
Start up a new D&D campaign like the next week, and he just never showed up again.
Maybe he's playing Dark Eye to this day. That's always pairing.
Himself.
Oh, I think you can find you can find 5 crazy people who would play this. I think.
It was really before Emery traumatized several DMs. Not really. I mean, I didn't even traumatize that guy. He just like left because we all didn't like him. I gotta remind you guys. This was like an 8-person group. This was like 8 people. Then shunned this dude because we were all like, nah, fuck this. And then he just never showed up. He was just that shamed, and it was like that's unfortunate to be honest, because the dude was a fun guy to hang out with. But it's like, yeah, dude, he brought over the worst game and basically like locked us in for 60 hours of garbage, and so then we went back to playing other better games.
Yeah. By the way, now we know what EC is. EC is encumbrance, so this is what this all means. Mm-hmm. You can drink and plate armor, so it's going to affect you negatively.
Wags, wait, hold on. I'm confused. What other DMs have I traumatized?
I don't know.
Player. I think I'm pretty decent.
I have no idea what's going on. Like,
I'm bad at Shadowrun, so.
Not bad at it. You're just. So okay, I want to go into like, why did little Nora play this so long? Again, the simple answer is
that was what you had.
It's what I had, and it's also like a local, like, you know, the idea of a local plateau of a skill or something, where you can do something wrong, but it can be good enough that you keep doing. Like, for example, typing with like 2 fingers, you can get pretty quick with typing with 2 fingers, but it's like there's a maximum to that, at which point you are going to be as quick as you can be. And then some guy who's just learned 10-finger typing and is bad at it is still going to be quicker than you when you have 2 fingers. This system is the very definition of, hey, you can learn to be really good at this, but you're going to have a worse time playing the same game than you would with other things, and it's really unfortunate. Like, again, like, it's the same skill as a cook skill. It never comes up to cook. Or if it does, it doesn't matter. Oh, it tastes bad tonight. Yeah, it sucks, man. Gonna try harder next time. If you tried adding salt, like, you RP a bit. You could have RP'd a bit anyway. Just do it. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's just.
But hey, you know, that's what you had. You know, like,
yeah.
That's fine, and especially with it being kind of like a local thing. Like, I played a lot in the Kenosha area, and those guys really like their D&D because it's like, yeah, Gary made the game like right over there. You know, like 3 blocks away from where we are right now. You know, like, so that's kind of just a thing. So I would say, yeah, if I was born in Germany, I would also probably be at least have played a lot of Dark Eye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I played my 50, 60 hours worth of it, and I'm fine. I don't think I would ever touch this again. I like this map though. Map's good.
The map is good. Again, they made a whole world setting. This, because this is like basically German D&D. It also has the Oh, the Oriental East kind of thing in the book. I don't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
of course.
They also have like another continent that's like, these are like Himalayan higher mountains, so on and so forth, climbed, blah blah blah. But then everyone asks for it. Can we just sail with a boat like in this direction and very easily go to wherever this is? No, oh, but no, sea serpents or something. I don't know. And then obviously the question was always, but what's over there? Like what is in the other directions? We know that the Torvalians who are like in this area, they came from this side. So there has to be something. So eventually they gave you books with that, and it's meh. You can find honestly, if you take nothing else from this game, you can Google this map. There's a really cool colored version of this. It's high res. You can find. It's a fine map to just use for your own game, because who cares? Like, oh, hey, you're gonna go to Gareth now. It's like right here, or whatever the fuck. I think it's this one actually, but who cares? And it's a fine map, good map. The art in this is good. The prose and writing, which we couldn't really get into, is good, but none of it saves the system.
Like, all of the fluff and the flavor is fine.
Yeah.
It's just the base is not good. You know, the actual structure of the system's just not fun to engage with. It's very poorly thought out. And that's what hurts so bad, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of cool ideas here, and then they just fuck it up.
That, like, the simple example again, I really like the idea. Yeah, well, there's this one lake on this continent where you find this specific stuff that can help you with magic. But then whoever wrote that didn't think about the alchemy rules, which say, well, we need that stuff because clearly that's what goes into magic potions, right? Makes sense. It's obviously the one way the wizard actually gets to do stuff, and this is constantly chugging your Mountain Dew of astral points. So you always need those fucking potions. And then no one thought to think about what that would mean for the setting, where it's like there would be a constant wagons upon wagons of mana potions flowing from this area, which is super rich because of this, because every wizard from everywhere has to buy their magic potions from them. Like, it would be a focus of the whole campaign where that place gets like taken over by some other power, and now they are going to deprive everyone of their potions because they hate you, and then that's the campaign. But they never do that. Instead, their big campaign is about, oh, the evil god is coming back, and the gods can't really stop him because he's like a chosen one. Like he basically declares a Sauron, and then you have to fight him in this big the seven marked campaign.
This is what fucking bothers me, because this is a thing where like they've created a low magic setting with really cool setting details that can inform, you know, normal play that would be at the level that they want, and then they do that stupid like god killing bullshit. Like, stop.
At the same
do that, then set the problems that are equal to that, you know, goal.
At the same time, they give you like a whole book about this is the main city, Gareth. And here's every street with every shop on it. They literally did the Faerun thing with Waterdeep. Yeah. And I hate it. Because it means that there's this one guy at the table who's like, no, the Kobold's Inn is over there. That is not the inn that's over there. You just said DM. No. And then you just go to that guy and be like, okay, different world, different reality. Fuck you. Accept it or leave my table.
Yeah, like that's the thing, right? When you have low magic games, there are cool things going on. Like I'm pretty confident I could run even like a Conan game in my own setting. You know, use that system in my own setting and have it be kind of decent. But then, like, you know, running the stuff that I do right now, I use a lot of weird high magic, sci fantasy, weird shit. Like even the last session we just ran 2 days ago. The quote execution by lake, and everybody doesn't know what the fuck that means. That's what you get out of like goofy magic stuff, you know? Like you have no idea what the fuck that is. So like that's the kind of cool stuff that you can get. Now if we had one player who was from that city or something, they'd be like, oh, I know what the fuck that is. I would have told them.
Yeah, you can
but like You need to have everything be consistent, man. Like it needs to work. The problems that your players are solving have to be inherently tied to what's going on. That's why like low magic D&D campaigns don't tend to work out, because the tools that your players have and the problems that they usually go against aren't contiguous with that type of magical input. This is just the reverse of that same problem.
Yep.
And that sucks.
Yep.
And it's always going to lead to kind of a thing where it's like, oh, wow, it always feels like we're under-equipped for this job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. Does this town have magic potions? But it's a hamlet of 5 people. Yeah, but I need a fucking magic potion, man. This adventure sucks. I can't cast spells because I had to use my magic for this magic resolution thing, which we couldn't do another way. Like we had to talk to the ghost, so I had to cast it 5 times. Who needs to talk to ghosts? That's a fucking spell. And then I harp on that because that's literally the first game they made. There's a point in which you're deep in a mine, and you have to find, and you have to, on your own volition, realize that the thing that is damaging you is probably a ghost. So you have to cast Talk with Ghost to talk to the ghost and find out what he wants. However, you are a low-level dude, and the only character who can cast that spell at all at low level is like a mage from one specific mage college you have to have with you. So what you have to do is go into the dungeon, realize it's a ghost, realize you can't cast the spell, return to town, recruit make a new character, put him in your party, go back into the dungeon, cast the spell, learn the thing, go back to town and get the guy you want in your party back.
Fucking sucks, dude. Blast, by the way, hashtag potion addiction. Hey, do you know what's a setting that does the exact fucking thing we're talking about? Dragon Age. Yeah. The entire point behind lyrium and like the way that you get it and how it's applied to people is a really, really big part of that setting.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. The other day, I was talking to Ronvi, who hasn't run a game in a while, and they were saying like, "Oh, I'd want to run like a Dragon Age thing." I'm like, "Yeah, do it. Go for it. That would be radical. I want to be a crackhead Templar. That'd be fun."
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, and again, there's like stuff in there.
That supply chain and that economical kind of interaction. That's big, you know.
Yeah.
That's a reason why your setting feels good. And if you're not using that, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
If you ever hit a thing and you go, wait, how's that work? You've failed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it should follow naturally, oh, this is how that works. This is where people get their money, and this is what they eat, you know? But if you can't understand how that supply chain then informs story, you failed the setting details.
Yes, exactly. Oh, by the way, all orcs come from the Orc land, which you can see here. It's not Oakland, it's Orcland. And then this is another one of those details where like, yeah, this setting is very nuanced and stuff, and then they were going to be like, yeah, no, evil land is over yonder. And why? And all like, and then they give you a book in the edition I played where it's like, oh, but orcs are actually not evil and you can play one. And then you read the rest of this setting and it's like, yeah, orcs are hated here. They're going to kill you on sight. Okay, I guess I don't play an orc then, eh? Yeah, but you could though. Yeah, but everyone hates me. Yeah, uphill battle maybe. Fuck it. Like, it's not great. Like, I don't know. It's just they had a few good writers and then a few very corny writers, I feel like.
Yeah, even then, like the corny writing, that isn't what killed it for me. It was the dice right at the start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no,
because like I could take a lot of corny writing. I mean, hell, what Coon 1 year ago? Come on.
Yeah.
So...
Okay. I want to be done with this. I think we are done with this. I think I don't have more. So, what do we do next time? Do we do a retrospective? Like it's our basically 18 months of doing this. Do we want to?
Oh yes, true.
Or do we do a normal episode? What do we feel like?
I'm feeling the retrospective this year.
I could do a retrospective. That would be cool.
Okay.
Like we did. What did we do? We did like fucking.
We need
Dungeon World last year.
But Dungeon World got a lot of worst offs. We have to have 2 lists each of us, which are like our worst 5 this year and our worst 5 all time, and see if anything changed and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need like a full list of these fucking things. I forgot that we've even done some things. Like I wake up in the morning some days and be like, did we do that?
Oh no.
I don't know.
Do this thing.
But,
Okay, so yeah, and our next one will be that, and after that, I think it's
Me.
Drake's turn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's Drake's turn.
Okay.
I have a birthday coming up between this and that. Then I believe.
Oh, the next one
Between
would be
this and the next one.
the 17th would be the next one.
Yeah, 17th, and then and then the 31st I'm gonna be outie.
Yeah, 31st.
Yeah,
we're not doing a show. I can tell you that for free now.
No way. That's big New Year's.
I mean, I would be worse for me than for you both, but I don't care to stream that day.
I'll be elf older by the next time we do the show after
Oof. Well, you know.
It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be fully white-haired by next year. It's gonna be a great time.
Be a good bit to slowly gray out as we talk about bad RPGs.
Oh no, I may actually just hit up Joe next year and be like, hey, can you just completely whiten my hair and just that switch? That's it.
Nice. Yeah, why not?
You know,
Nice,
just do a quick recolor.
Yeah.
It's happening. Don't worry.
I'll find a
about
Balrog, you know.
Yeah.
No, that was way earlier. That sucked.
Well,
read all about it, and the novella coming should be next year. End of next year should be good. Getting all of the publishing deals away. It's taken me like 2 years to get the novella stuff set out, so don't worry about it. If you want to read the Epic of Emmerich, you can do that soon. Don't worry about it.
nice.
I don't release chapters, however, I will release probably the first prologue at some point for folks to read if you're interested in that. If you like pulp stories, that may be a good time. If you don't, however, I do not care.
Okay.
Turn to reading whatever you read. Harry Potter, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like this was
Pretty good episode, to be honest.
yeah, pretty good episode. I could tell more war stories of the system, but I think
Wait! Wait a minute. I'm reading through all of this dumb bullshit magic garbage with all of this, and then there's just Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Just Thunderbolt. Yep.
Shut up. I just saw it. I'm so mad. I'm re-mad.
Wait, which one is Thunderbolt? Give me a page.
139, and right before it is Spiritus Armicus. Armicus. I know my Latin, and now my brain's too melted. But right after
No,
it,
Mufus. You mean Mufus Lightning? No, it's
No. 139. Keep going down.
Oh, Thunderbolt. Oh yeah, that's the elf one.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Okay, that's the good spell. Because it still costs 1 per day. Oh, they changed it.
Yep.
Rough shit.
Oh, but it's good because it bypasses the armor instead of melting it, I think. Oh yeah. Right. Because it used to be that you would do 2d6 plus your SB, right? So your skill, but you wouldn't pay the SB. That was the old rule. They changed it, so this is also bad now. Okay, so the magic sword technique is even better in this edition. Good job, guys. Like I would bring again. If it's 1-to-1, it's really bad. Imagine your wizard at any level basically being able to kill one guy in a fight, and then he's out of magic. Like it is to be fair, it is a there is one AoE spell which does AoE damage, and then that everyone takes it. But that's not always applicable.
No.
And anyway.
So bad, man.
Yeah. And then everything in here costs 7 points or 18 points. Or oh yeah. Mutender Salathor. This is a polymorph spell. Can make someone into a plant or something and then just step on them. Yeah, everything will cost at least 5 to 7 points to even do. Except if it's a very, very, very basic spell. So you mostly just can't cast things. Oh, we did cyberspace this year. That's true. God, cyberspace is also really bad.
Sucked. That's still. I don't know. Is that the worst that we've still got?
Cyberspace is Rollmaster again, so it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, yeah. There's that. There's Continuum that we did this year.
No, we did Continuum last year.
Last year?
Oh, yeah.
Geez, okay.
Continuum also now worst of year one list. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So
it's left scars that resonate through time.
Yeah. It's time traveling. It's always the last episode we did.
Getting fragged. Wait, we're getting fragged right now.
We're getting fragged right now.
And not in the fun grenade way. No, it's the bad time travel way.
Yikes. Ugh.
Yeah. That's again, like if you look through this, it's just so. Silence reigns supreme. 1 ASP per 3 page radius in game turns. So a game turn is 5 minutes. So you pay like 1 point for a little small area, and then if you want an actual useful area, it's really expensive. And it's just all the casting is a trap in this. Casters are super weak. You mostly just go.
Real shame. That is honestly super sad.
But the best character to play in this in terms of just survival is just a bow person with armor.
Yeah.
And
it's historically accurate.
It is historically accurate, yeah, because the mage has a. Like, imagine if you're a wizard standing there and being pelted with arrows, and your best attack spell is the 21-meter range. Like, good luck getting that arrow, that bowman before you're dead. Anyway, so thank you both for doing this with me, and now you have to dangle a new sort of Damocles over me because you don't want to play this, Emery. I know how to min-max the system too well, and you don't want me to do that. And so today we're going to.
I wasn't planning on running this, or having it run, or playing it, or anything.
You did playfully threaten one time to do that, so I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm calling your bluff.
True,
I will play in your game, but you don't want to run this.
I don't. Did I say I was gonna run it?
I don't know who was gonna run.
Make a joke about playing it.
Oh, if I'm gonna run it, I'm just gonna kill you all with min-maxed idiots, cool. And then we are done with it.
I think the threat was, oh no, Shadowrun's not coming back next year, instead we're playing the Dark Eye.
Yeah. That was the joke. That's true. That's true. That was
but
good.
I wouldn't run the Dark Eye. You would have to run it. That's what I said.
I made that joke. I think I was like delirious. That episode, I was really fucked up. I think I was hungover that episode, and I was like I was drifting in and out.
That is possible.
I made the Dark Eye joke.
That is possible.
It is possible. It was a Friday, man. Sometimes I'm just.
It's probably not a Friday, but a Saturday. But whatever the fuck. Oh, you mean? Oh, it was made during Shadowrun? No, you're right.
It was made during Shadowrun.
Yeah, you're right. Whatever. I don't care anymore. I don't want to talk about Dark Eye anymore. I now did it on this show, so I never have to get into that game again.
We don't have to talk about it again until they put out a new edition.
Yes. No, even they're not. They're never gonna. The Holy Calf is never gonna get started. If they make their game better, it's gonna be too much like D&D.
True.
So retrospective next time. We're gonna make lists of our tops, and we're gonna shout it at each other about why stuff should be on our lists.
Yeah.
And then
did like 3 Modiphius games this year, so
yeah, they're gonna be pretty high on the list, honestly.
Yeah, they're all good.
I think what we should do here's what we should also have, like our pick of like the best surprise and the biggest like letdown. Because
we had a big letdown
as an example, I wouldn't put Alien like on the worst list just because it's just a nothing thing, but it's a letdown for me because I would have liked them to actually make that a good game about horror.
Guys, Dark Souls.
Yeah, Dark Souls is a giant letdown, but it's also on my worst list.
That's still my biggest one. Surprise! That's my biggest letdown.
Yeah, it's also on the worst list.
That
one
hurt the most.
I kind of mean outside of the lists. Because if you're gonna call it your worst of the year, it's clearly let down.
Yeah.
So I feel like stuff that we also mentions, maybe, I don't know what we can call it. We can talk about it on chat, but anyway.
I will say there is a specific thing that I said last year that I remember, and that's like sometimes you can't put something on the worst list because it's just not playable. Like you wouldn't touch it. Like cyberspace is not going to be on my list. Big surprise.
Yeah.
It's not going to be there because it's something that's just like you would never play that. That's not even like a concept.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. Mutants in the Now. True. I feel bad for talking a lot of shit on Mutants in the Now.
It's just.
But that's because Sundered liked it, and I felt bad for.
I stand by what we I stand by what we said about it. It's just like. Yeah. It's stolen. It's stolen. Straight up stolen. It's like,
stolen and soulless. Like.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. It's a bummer. But I don't blame you, Sundered. You were not aiding and abetting that theft.
No.
You didn't know. You're valid.
So we are gonna rate one mini Ministry of Inui Control, who's doing a subathon on behalf of a donathon on behalf of another VTuber who needs money today.
Valid. Cool.
Carl. And I'm gonna guest there in like an hour, but I need a pause right now, so I'm not gonna immediately go and jump on.
Yes.
But yes, we are gonna rate. And yeah, we're gonna back in 2 weeks. I don't know on which channel we're gonna do it. I don't really care what channel we go.
Yep.
And then we do our last. I guess it wouldn't be mine. We did last year's retrospective on my channel. So you two kick each other in the balls until it's clear where we go. You know, that's how we do it here.
I'm good.
Okay.
Trey, do you want to do it with you or on me? Who cares? Do you want to do me or do you? Who's doing each other?
Do you this time?
Okay, all right. We'll do me. Do you.
Okay, perfect.
And then I'll tragically die of a heroin overdose over the next year. It's my default.
That's a fair shake.
White indeed.
Any announcements for the next few days from either of you? From me, I don't have anything anymore.
I'm getting back on scheduling this week, so I'll be doing some stuff. I'll probably be playing some Dark Tide,
nice.
And maybe something else. I don't know. And we'll be vibing, doing the usual, and that's it. And then I'm out at the end of next week, Friday through Sunday. I'm not going to be around, so
Wait, you are not there on Friday?
I said this in chat earlier.
I didn't.
This is a thing where my travel plans got moved really.
No, fuck.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Shadowrun's never gonna happen again.
It looks like Shadowrun might happen next year at this point.
Ah, fuck.
Oh.
Might do something. Okay, we rate it.
Yeah, that's true.